What is going on, everybody? Welcome to day 3 of the 2024 USA Powerlifting High School National Championship here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We have a stacked day for you today. We've got 3 full sessions, tons of weight classes to go. For this first session, we've got the varsity ladies 67.5 and 75s. Oh, excuse me, wrong session. We've got the varsity males 82.5 and 90 kgs. And then we've got the varsity male. So we've got equipped and raw today. Men's 82.5 and 90 kgs. We're doing great. It's day 3, but we're rocking and rolling. My name is Nick Stevens, a.k.a. Ganondorf, USAPL coach, competitor, commentator, and newly minted referee. And I'm joined by the one and the only
Adriana Davis, at Adriana Davis on Instagram, competitor, referee, commentator, and I'm ready to see some great lifting today.
I am too. We've had nothing but some solid lifts across the board, and it's really just a testament to how awesome and how, I guess I want to say accessible powerlifting has become for younger lifters, giving them the opportunity to start early and let them have a taste of what a national stage feels like at this level. And you don't see that too often.
For sure. I mean, last night we had such a good session. Such good battles too. The 67.5 kilo battle, the 75 kilo battle, the 44 kilo battle. Just to say the least, like it seems like every class, not every class, but quite a few classes have got some battles, and not just for first place, but battles for the podium, battles for top 5, and just a couple years ago, that's not really something you would see at the high school level. But this is our biggest high school nationals yet, and it's just getting more stacked.
I think there's over 850 plus lifters that are signed up.
That's insane, representing 45 states out of 50. And I mean, it's just really phenomenal to see the sport grow, and this is where it starts, folks. This is the future of powerlifting right here.
Absolutely. And folks, you're going to see some people on the platform, and if you didn't know any better, you'd think they've been in this game for years and years and years. A lot of these kids have what I like to call platform maturity, and just a little bit of class that you don't see, especially from the younger lifters. And it's just, again, just a testament to, the coaching, the accessibility, and just a testament to USA Powerlifting. All right, well, let's get locked into the action here, folks. We're starting off with the squat. Over on platform 1, we've got Jacob Schwab doing Jacob Schwab doing 165 kilos, so that's 363 pounds. Over on platform 2, we've got Braden Bessinger, that's 160 kilos, so that's going to be 374 pounds.
352 pounds.
Did I get that right? Oh, no, wait. Oh, yeah, that's right, 352. I went up, not down. And then on platform 3, we've got Joseph Nepper, 180 kilos. I believe that's 396. Nice. I got one right.
Yes. You're 2 right. Give yourself some credit.
All right, folks. So for those of you that are just tuning into powerlifting for the very first time, I'm just going to do a quick brief overview of how today is going to go, as well as get into some of the rules, regulations for the squat, as well as the bench press and the deadlift when we get there. And Adriana and I are going to do our best to highlight the action on the platforms, give you all some insight as to what may be going on behind the referees' calls, lifter mindset, anything that could be going on backstage. We're going to try and give you the best look that we can. So first off, in terms of the entire meet structure, so we've got squat, bench, and deadlift. Everyone is split up into flights. Can vary by age, but a lot of these folks are in the same weight class, so it is by lot number that they're decided. And so let's say you're in the first flight on the first platform. You take your opener squat, then all the folks in the rest of your flight take their opener squat, and then everyone takes their second, and then everyone takes their third.
It's a round system.
Same type beat with bench and deadlift. Now, if you're looking on the platform, there are 3 referees on each side of the or 1 referee on each side of the platform, so 3 total. And in order for a lift to be considered a quote-unquote good lift, it needs to have at least 2 white lights, or needs to be approved by at least 2 judges, so majority rules there. And each of our referees are Category 1 or 2 national level referees. So these folks have been refereeing on the national stage for quite some time. Even those people, there's some that have been doing it for decades, even on the international level.
Yep.
And so with that, Adriana, can you tell us a little bit about, from the referee standpoint, some of like the top 3 things to look at for the squat?
Sure. So for the squat, as Brendan on platform 2 is going to exemplify here, each lifter has 1 minute to get set up and to get that squat command. So you'll see Brendan get set up, gotta wait, gets the squat command, goes down, hits depth, comes back up, locks out, gets the rack command, 3 white lights, perfect textbook lift. So what we're looking for there is the lifter, when they get set up, before they get that squat command, they've got to be in a proper starting position. So they've got to have their knees locked out, have their hips not locked out, not be too like, you know, if the bar is way too low on your back, you're gonna get a replace command. We're just looking for you to stand up straight with the weight, right?
Have control of the bar.
Yes. If you're like moving around, you gotta wait until they're motionless. So lifter gets the squat command, goes down, hits depth, and depth is, it's notorious for being very difficult in the squat and one of the most called infractions. So typically, if you're gonna see a lifter hit a squat and then it gets 2 or 3 red lights and you're kind of like, whoa, what happened there? I didn't see anything wrong. Usually it's going to be a depth call. And Nick, what is depth?
So depth, we're talking about the top of the knee crease. So when the lifter is at the very, very bottom of their squat, if you're looking at their hip crease, it should be a downward diagonal line from the top surface of the knee. Can't be a straight line with the surface of the knee, cannot be parallel, cannot be above. It has to be below that top surface of the knee, and it has to be viewed by at least 2 of our judges.
Yes, and depth is, it's very hard to call. It's different from you're in the gym, you're watching over your videos, you're pausing at the bottom of the hole. It's very different from that because these referees, they don't have a slow-mo cam. They don't have video replay. They're on the platform live, judging your lift in real time. So it's a very hard thing to judge, and that's why at these national level meets you typically will see more depth calls, even though we do uphold the standard across all levels, just because these judges, as Nick said, are more experienced. They are international referees, national referees. They've just got more experience with making that call on the spot. So, and they've got a better eye for it. I mean, practice makes perfect. And if you've seen a lot more depth calls over 5 years, 10 years, decades even, then you're just going to have a lot more experience at judging that compared to, say, a local meet. So that's why it's really great to see lifters this young, and so many lifters this young, get into the game early, get that national level experience that's going to prepare them for bigger stages later on.
We were talking a little bit yesterday about how, you know, keep in mind, these kids are, you know, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. I don't know what y'all were doing at that age. I was screaming in Call of Duty lobbies, eating Doritos. These kids are putting some heavy steel on their backs and making it move.
Yeah, I mean, just one fantastic lift that I remember from yesterday, Ben Tran hit a Teen 1 world record. Now, Teen 1 is going to be 14 through 15 years old. So he was 15 years old, opting to compete in the varsity division, and I believe he hit somewhere around 492 pounds, which is crazy to think as a kid that's 15 years old. And that's why watching these high school level meets are just so fantastic, because you never know where these lifters might end up. They could very well be future national champions, Arnold Pro Series winners, and they just have bright futures in the sport starting out this young.
I mean, looking back just to day one, I can picture Andre Duval
Yes, of
um,
course.
broke three world records on bench press and squat. Um, and I
Yeah, that
mean,
was phenomenal.
he was a firecracker. I believe he was a 52 kilo lifter. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, I've never seen someone move so well. I mean,
I
that
think
kid,
he was 75.
75. Okay, it's
But
folks that are
still,
just built for powerlifting.
yes, that day one was specifically meant for JV lifters.
Yes.
So that means that, I'm just realizing this now, that means that Andre was in 9th or 10th grade. Because how the rules work, folks, is that if you are, it's kind of like high school sports in a regular sense, like if you're thinking American football, soccer, whatever. If you are in 9th or 10th grade, then you have the option to either compete in JV, or if you're just that good enough, you can opt to compete in the varsity. But if you are in 11th or 12th grade, you don't have an option. You have to meet that varsity qualifying total, which is going to be higher than the JV total, and you're going to have to compete against the varsity lifters. Oh, and on platform 2, Joe had to replace the bar, but it wasn't his fault. Kind of avoided disaster there. The plates seemed to be sliding off a little bit,
Oh, goodness.
and that's not. He didn't get hurt, thankfully. We've seen plates slide completely off, and then disaster strikes there. But he had to replace it just because the referee noticed the plates were sliding off. I think that's a good call from the referee.
Definitely, and that, I mean, goes to show they're quick on the draw. They're used to seeing stuff like this. And not only that, but they know how to respond. They know how to teach the spotters and loaders, and help them improve for the next lifter.
Yes, especially since a lot of these spotters and loaders, they're working, like, this is a 4-day
This is their
meet.
3rd day in a row.
That is
some of these guys.
crazy, and a lot of them are in high school themselves. A lot of them are provided by Cajun Prep.
Shout out Cajun Prep, coached by Travis Werner. He's our meet director today. And then Cajun Prep as well is our host team for this competition this weekend. And folks, if you hear us at home and you hear us saying random names that are not on your screen, that is because Adriana and I have the view of all 3 platforms. So we're going to be hopping between each of the 3. We're going to let you know which one we're at as best we can. Speaking of, here's Joe on platform 2. 402 pounds. That's a good lift.
And on platform 3 seems to be a fun one. It was a very competitive platform yesterday.
Oh, my goodness.
And
Eric Chen.
yeah.
Oh, my
Eric
gosh.
Chen.
What a show.
I mean, the top 5 was such a battle in the 67.5s, and
It quite literally came down to the last deadlift.
yeah, it was phenomenal to see, and I think we're gonna see the same thing today. I mean, Derek's son on platform 3 just opened up with 220 kilos.
Wow.
I don't know how many of you could do that when
And
you were in high school,
this
but
is just the first attempt of the first flight, folks.
yeah, exactly. And it's looking like the raw 82.5 kilo class is, again, going to be a battle between the top 3, top 4, 5.
How many
It's
folks are in the
stacked.
82.5 today for the men?
About 65. 66.
Goodness gracious.
I mean, that just goes to show
Imagine
how
competing
stacked it
against
is.
66 people.
I mean, that's insane. And to even place top 10, top 5,
That's an accomplishment in and of itself.
of course, yeah. As well as whoever walks away as the national champion at the end of the day. That's a phenomenal thing to add to your resume, especially with how much high school powerlifting is growing, how much the competition is growing.
Oh, it's really blown up in the past couple years.
Yeah.
Literally like the past couple years.
Yeah, legit.
Here's Travis Kim on platform 1, 205 kilos. That's 451 pounds. And now these are the 82.5 kilo lifters. So they are going to be weighing upwards of around 181 pounds or less. Looks like we also have the 90 kilo men today on platform 2. Jacob Courtney, actually, sorry. Levi Uranker on platform 2 is a 90 kg lifter.
Oh, yeah, I guess we do have, oh, you know what? We've only got one 90 kg male.
I
with
wonder
Levi.
if there's a kind of an outside situation where he would have to compete just a little bit earlier. And that's okay. You know, he may be able to compete at this time. The 90 kgs aren't going to be going until later on tonight.
Perhaps he had an exam. He had to get back for
Hey,
it.
listen, these kids are in school still. These kids
Yeah.
are in school. They're
Yeah,
getting
that's
off
the thing
spring
to
break.
remember. Yeah, exactly. These kids are, I mean, powerlifting training is demanding. If you miss too many sessions, it's going to throw off your entire schedule.
I don't even know if I want to call them kids. These are young men and women at this point. Look at these
Exactly.
strong lifters.
But yeah, Levi potentially had a scheduling issue to where he had to lift earlier. Same thing kind of happened on day one, where we had a couple of lifters competing in varsity, and we're going to see their classes later on today. But they had to actually put up their totals on the first day, which was the JV day. And it was also due to a scheduling conflict. And how we do it in that situation is USA Powerlifting, the meet director, put those lifters on an earlier time than when their session is going. You wouldn't want to put them at a later time or a later day, because that would give them a great advantage over their competitors who already went. Especially if you're competitive or if you're a contender for the top placing or even top 5. When your competitor has already posted a total, it's almost not fair. I
Right.
mean, you already know exactly what you need to put up to beat them. You're not. The thing about powerlifting is, yes, we can quote unquote do the math by adding up everyone's totals from the gym, but it's not the same as the platform. It's not the same as being directly in a head-to-head competition where the pressure is on, you've got to make your lifts, and sometimes the absolute strongest lifter is not going to walk out on top just because meet day environment is so different from training, and it's just so different. There's so many factors. Like we said, the handling comes into play, making the right calls, making your lifts.
I was going to say, making the lifts is the most key part here. I mean, we saw yesterday, if you miss one attempt, that'll drop you 5 placings, and you really got to battle back going down to deadlifts. And folks, it's important to remember, like, with the squat, and especially when we consider the whole context of the competition here, the squat is going to add, arguably, the squat is going to be adding a good bit to the total. For most people, it's going to add about between 40-ish% of their total, depending on who you are. Some folks are really good at the squat or specialize in the squat, you could say. But
like yourself.
Hey, well, not anymore. But, but they have 3 attempts with the squat, and not only that, but they've got 3 attempts at the bench and the deadlift. And folks, these are all, I mean, yes, you say the squats are for the legs, deadlifts for the back, benches for the chest, but I mean, these are whole body lifts. These are taxing on the entire body, and I don't care how old you are or how experienced you are, it can take a toll. And that comes down to, like you were saying, comes down to the handling, comes down to really knowing your lifter and knowing what they're capable of on the day.
Yes, on the day is the most important part, because you could take your numbers from training. You could say, hey, I squatted this. I think I could squat this in the meet. But did you travel? Did you make the cut? And especially on deadlifts, did you squat before you deadlifted? Some people just take their gym total across a week. And sometimes it doesn't play out that way, because if you have to grind out a heavy squat, or you even miss your 3rd attempt trying to grind it out, that's going to fatigue your back going into deadlifts. So just so many factors at play. That's what really makes it a sport.
Absolutely. And then, folks, once we get into deadlifts, where we start to see the competition kind of shaping up just a little bit better, we're going to see how much the prior lifts have affected those and how well they're able to adapt to whatever the competition requires.
Yes. As of right now, like just at the start of the competition, we can. Oh.
Okay,
Platform
Aiden Brown
2.
on platform 2.
Okay,
It
I
didn't
think
look
it's
like,
okay.
so that wasn't a dump. He didn't dump it at all. That was, he probably brought that down as best as he could.
I think he did, yeah. And I think the spotters just.
There's nothing you can do for them either.
Yeah, I think they just weren't. It just kind of came down weird. I think they just weren't prepared to help him get that back up. But I mean, Dane's going to have a talk with him, or they're trying to figure things out. But thankfully, he's okay. I've seen accidents happen for the spotters, for the lifters, and that's what's good to note too. As we said just a couple minutes ago, these spotters really working hard throughout the days throughout the whole day. I mean, yesterday, legit working every session, and that is tiring. And they are keeping our lifters safe, and it's really a hard job. And it's an underappreciated job, too.
Absolutely. I mean, just to put it into context, imagine you're doing, let's say you're doing overhead press. Kind of. I don't know what would be the most equitable exercise for that.
I mean, essentially,
yeah.
yeah, especially if you've got lifters. I mean, personally, myself, that's why I kind of don't spot and load.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't blame you.
I want to try it one day just to see how hard it is and give me a different appreciation. But
It's tough, dude.
yeah, like
It's
you
tough.
said, it's tough. I mean,
You're doing air squats all day.
yes, you're loading plates.
You are literally locked in, trying to maintain focus on our lifter and keep them safe. You are loading up reds, unloading reds, doing that for hundreds of lifters every day. I mean, that's a feat in and of itself, and we can only admire the dedication that these spotters and loaders have.
Yeah, for sure.
Here's Julian Tavares on platform 1, 402 pounds, representing St. John's Prep Powerlifting. That looked like a no lift, unfortunately. It looked like some up and downward motion. And folks, when we talk about downward motion, let's say we're looking at the squat here. If we're looking at the bar, right, we don't want the bar to reverse in its trajectory, say. So say you're bringing the bar down nice and easy, you hit depth, you come up, 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 up. You do not want that bar to come back down and then go back up again. That would indicate up and downward motion and is an infraction. Similarly, you get double bouncing at the bottom of the squat. So
It's kind of another version of
right.
that rule.
Except that one's more like an extra boost.
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
And that's kind of why we have the downward rule in effect. It's been some sort of controversy over the last couple of years, but it essentially makes it so that we're upholding the standard. We're making sure our lifts look clean.
And not only that, but we're standardizing across the board.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
if we have the same standard, I mean, let's say you pull 600. Let's just say you pull 600.
I wish I did.
And then we'll say I pull 600, but I had up and down.
Yeah, it almost.
I mean,
it makes
it's not equitable.
Yeah, it makes it not fair, and it rewards those lifters who are able to standardize their lifts. I mean, it's just like any other sport. We've got rules in play, and if you make it too loose, then it just makes it not fair across the board, like you said.
Here's Derek's son on platform 2, going up 7.5 kilos to 501. Folks, we're already into the 500. It's not even 9 o'clock yet.
Yeah, and Derek's son currently forecasted in. Oh, he actually missed that on.
Oh goodness.
I believe the spotter's in the way, but I think he got blues for that. So a blue card indicates either up and down motion, which I don't think he had. It moved fairly well, or a soft lockout.
Mm-hmm.
So what I think happened there is the side judges either thought he had soft lockout at the start or the end of the lift.
What does that look like, soft start?
So soft lockout looks like when
Soft lockout, yeah.
when your knees are not completely locked out. I don't want to say straight just because some people got big knees. It's going to be hard to keep them straight, especially with the knee sleeves. But the judges are just looking to make sure that your knees are completely locked out, because if you finish the lift and your knees are super soft, then it's almost like you didn't finish the lift. You've got to finish it 100%. And that just goes, it kind of plays back into standardizing lifts across the board, making sure everyone is meeting the standard. And yeah, unfortunately for Derek, he was forecasted in 4th place, and now he's forecasted in 6th. So that's the thing, you've got to make your lifts. Every single lift is crucial in these battles. I mean, Derek's going to be fighting for likely top 5, potentially top 3. So it's that's why these battles are so fun, because yes, you could say, oh, this lifter did this in the gym, this lifter did this, but I don't think I've rarely seen a battle where everyone has gone 9 for 9.
Yes.
That's like a 5% chance. People miss lifts, things happen. That's what kind of what you're saying earlier. Like squats, typically make up around 40% of someone's total. If you miss that third squat,
That's huge.
yeah, that's huge, especially in the battle. Say you jump 7.5, 10 kilos, you're missing those kilos, leaving them on the table, and kind of opening the door for someone to take your place.
That's right. Not only that, not only do you have to kind of pay attention to your own list, but you got to watch out for the rest of the competition.
Yeah,
you got to
for
keep
sure.
an eye out on how their warm-ups are doing. You know, I mean, obviously they say focus on yourself, but this is a competitive sport.
Yes.
I mean, if we want to get on the podium, we got to pay attention to the other lifters. We got to pay attention to what lifts they miss, what lifts they make, and how we can adjust from that.
Yeah, there is an approach of just quote unquote focusing on yourself and making all of your lifts. Some people do implement that strategy where they just focus on their lifter.
They just lift.
Yeah, just lift. Make sure, because if you focus, there's a difference between paying attention to what your competitors are doing and almost paying attention too much, where you hyper focus
Right.
on them. You're chasing numbers. You're saying, oh, X lifter hit 500 pounds in squat. I only hit 480. I'm falling behind. I got to chase that 500. No.
We don't need that. We don't need that added pressure already.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to, as a competitor, as a handler, almost focus on what your lifter is doing while paying attention to the competition. It's a fine balance between the two.
Absolutely. Here's Travis Kin on platform 1. He missed that opening attempt, but it looks like he will get on the board. So he missed that opener at 205 and then elected to go up 215 kilos.
Oh.
Which is a sizable jump, 10-kilo jump, especially from missing the first. In what situations would you see that happen the most?
I think we would see that happen the most when you're in some sort of battle and there's pressure to, like we said, if you end up missing your third attempt, you're leaving kilos behind. So that's kind of the same situation where if you miss your opener and repeat it, then you're kind of stuck, because where do you jump to from there? Do you jump to your planned second? Do you jump to your planned third? What if you miss your third on strength? Then you're left with only your opener. And that just really leaves so many kilos left on the table that you're missing out from your total at the end of the day.
That's right. Folks, we're already on platform 3. We're already on to third attempts. We are cruising and bruising. Blaine Parsons going to take his last attempt at 451 pounds. Sean Wilson before him unfortunately missed that, but he did come away with 197.5 kilos.
Yeah, we are actually on third attempts for every single platform now.
Oh, nice.
So now we're back to the top of the order on platform 1, where Shivan is going to take 172.5, and this is kind of that situation that we just talked about. He missed his opener, elected to go up anyways, and I'll admit I don't quite remember what he missed those 2 attempts on, but it's really dicey to decide to go up after your opener. It's really a tough decision. You don't want to leave the kilos on the table, but at the same time, you want to go on the board. Well, that looks easy. That has to be in.
All right, he's on the board.
Honestly,
folks.
Since that moved so well, I can only imagine that his first 2 attempts were likely some sort of technical issue, whether that be depth, whether that be jumping a command. That's also going to give you a no lift. But yeah, really glad he stays on the board there, because what would happen if he didn't?
Oh, what a grind on 3. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
No, you're
oh my
good.
goodness.
First
I thought he was going to
grind of
stop
the
for a
day.
second. 3 white lights. Joseph Nebber, 3 for 3. My goodness. We can hear the celebration out here. Sorry to interrupt. I just got so distracted by that one.
Yeah, yeah, he's super excited with that. He's really excited with that.
Yeah, he's
Walking
stoked.
right past us. Yeah, that is what is so fun about watching this sport, where lifters go out, they put in a grind, they're really putting it all on the platform.
Almost like they're motivated,
yes,
dude.
Almost giving their soul to the lift. Like, I have to make this third squat, especially if you're in some sort of battle, or even if you're not. You always want to go 9 for 9. That's
right.
the goal at the end of the day. That's going to build the biggest total that you can make, and it just feels good to make lifts. You've only got 9 lifts. This isn't some other sport where you're playing for 90 minutes. We literally have 9 minutes on the platform, and if you're missing one of those lifts, you're missing 1/9 of the game, pretty much.
You're missing the first inning, folks.
Yeah. So it's just really exciting to see lifters give it their all, and when they're able to crush it, make that third attempt, it's just the best feeling in the world.
Absolutely. These kids have been training for months and months and months, and so to finally come to the national stage, the culmination of it all, once you get those good lifts, it's just a release of emotion.
Yes,
I mean, we're
yeah.
going to see some awesome celebrations today, and me personally, that's what makes me stoked about powerlifting. I love seeing other people just as excited as me about the sport, and
It
I
almost
mean,
makes
these
me want to
kids,
cry.
exactly. These kids are putting their hearts on their sleeve, man, and like
Yeah,
we
I mean,
said,
you could
it's
just see it in their face when,
right.
from the time if you're in the back room, you're seeing them moments before they step on the platform. You see them setting up, see them walking out the lift as Aaron does on platform 3. Like, just the sheer focus that they have on their face. And Aaron unfortunately misses that. And Aaron also kind of in that battle for top 5, but unfortunately with that missed squat, kind of leaves 5 kilos on the table there.
Now, folks, when we do these projected numbers, this it's called a forecasted total, and so this is just based on opening attempts and the lifts that were already completed, or the lifts or attempts that were on, or like the subsequent attempt.
Yes.
So say you got 2 squats, your next attempt will be up there as well as the rest of your openers. That plays into that forecasted total. Now, that could change at any moment. At the drop of a dime, someone could miss a lift, someone could change an opener, someone could bomb out, which just means they're disqualified from the meet. They don't hit any of their lifts within the discipline. And so like we said, we're talking about these forecasted placings, but we're not married to them.
Yes,
This
of
could
course.
change at any moment. Whoever's in 8th could come up and win.
Yeah.
You know, just because they hit a 9 for 9 day.
Exactly. That's what makes the sport so exciting. You have the forecasted total that you can use as a tool, but sometimes it can be a trap, especially if you're a coach or handler, or if you're a lifter, looking at the forecasted total and say someone is opening super, super heavy, but they're only going to get their openers at the end of the day. That could potentially, yes, they're forecasted ahead of you at the beginning of the day, but there's a lot of lifting left to go before the end of the day, and you could very well end up on top. So we use the forecasted as a tool, and it does give us some sort of indication of who's going to be within contention.
It's like a sneak peek.
Yes, it's like a sneak peek, and a lot can, I mean, just so far, 3 lifters who are forecasted within the top 6 going to be fighting for the top 5 placing. Each of them have missed a lift. So you cannot just take forecasted total and project, okay, everyone's going to go up 15 kilos on squat, blah, blah, blah on bench. It doesn't work like that. People miss lifts. So much can happen. Mishaps can happen. And yeah, you could overreach. You can miss lifts, while someone else could go 9 for 9,
That's
making
right.
all their lifts, building that strong total.
Carrying on with our third attempts here, Adrian Morel on platform 1. Looks like he's handled by the Kevin Serrano. 187.5 kilos for his last attempt. That's 413 pounds. Platform 2, here's Sammy. Ooh, that's an excellent way to fight through that grind. Give him, there we go, 190 kilos goes down nice and easy, 418 pounds. Bars loaded for Andy Wynn on platform 3. 225 kilos, that's 496 pounds. We're already cruising with the heavyweight. Here's Adrian Morel, excuse me. And that 7.5 kilo jump from the second moved very well. And in terms of jumps for each of the lifts, there's different strategies that different coaches can implement based on the strengths of the lifter, and really just based off of the strategy for the best way they're trying to get pounds onto that total. And so some folks, good grab by the spotters there for Graham. He comes away with his opener, though. He's on the board. But we're looking at the jumps here. Some folks opt to take even jumps across the board. So let's say they'll go 10 kilos after their first, 10 kilos after their second, and then they'll take 10 kilos for their third.
Good grind on platform 3 from Andy.
Got to be good. And it was. You've got folks that'll do even jumps, like we said, and then you've got folks that'll do big to small. So say they'll do 10-kilo jumps, and then they might do a 2.5, 5, or 7.5-kilo jump going into the third attempt. Conversely, can do very small jump from first to second and a very big one from second to third.
Yes. That one's not seen very often, but I mean, I've seen it before.
This is very true, and that, like I said, that all comes down to the individuality of the lifter, and it really just highlights the individuality of the sport in and of itself. Dylan Mitchell with probably the biggest grind I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh!
There is no way.
He fought through that.
There is no way. 3 white lights.
Phenomenal to see.
I know that there was, yesterday we saw probably the best bench grind I've ever seen. That is up there for one of the best grinds on squat I've ever seen. You want to talk about tenacity and grit.
Sticking with it, too.
I'm saying.
Sticking with it, because some lifters, I mean, it just depends on their strength profiles, too. Some lifters, it's going to be tougher to grind out any lift, but when you see a big grind, you know, I mean, he was stuck at that sticking point for 5 seconds on our end. You know, for him, that felt like a whole minute.
Oh, yes.
Just sticking with it, just fighting through for that long a time. And, I mean, it's literally on his back. It's literally on these lifters' back, and they're fighting through, sticking with it, like just not giving up.
Right.
Showing that tenacity, like you said.
Here's Andy Tran on one. 418 pounds. Another big grind on one, but he finds his way up. Was it deep enough for the judges? Let's see. Oh, unfortunately, no. That's going to be all reds on depth, folks. Coming up on platform 3, we are already on to our next flight of power lifters. Here's Andrew Leadham, opening with 264 pounds. He's representing St. John's Prep. Now, I wonder if that was low enough for the judges as well. Spotter is jumping in the way there.
That was good.
Okay,
good lift.
Excellent. Now, Adrienne and I may both be commentators. I mean, we are, yes.
I think so.
Maybe.
No, we're just random people they pulled off the street for the stream.
No, but we may both be referees. We know what we're seeing. We've seen powerlifting. We've seen tons of lifters and all different kinds of squats, benches, and deadlifts. But we're only seeing one angle of the action here. We've got 3 judges, and you see 2 judges on the sides, 1 judge in the front. And so there's multiple angles, multiple different points of view to be able to determine whether or not that lift was good.
Yes.
Important to note, too, these referees are not looking to give lifters bad lifts.
No.
They're not trying to give you red lights. They're not out to get you. If anything, they want the most white lights as possible. And even if they're unsure with the call, the deference goes to the lifter anyway. But they're just there to uphold the standard, and especially so at high school nationals. Brandon Murphy, 202.5 kilos. On platform 2, it's going to be a good lift. He'll finish out 3 for 3 on squat, really building the momentum going into bench and deadlift there.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good when you go 3 for 3 in any discipline, let alone the squat when you're starting out the day, really starting out on a strong note.
I might be a little bit biased, but I much prefer going 3 for 3 on bench. I think that's just way more rewarding.
It feels satisfying.
It feels way more rewarding, but definitely because the third bench is the most missed lift.
Yes, exactly.
But I would rather go 1 for 3 on squat and go 3 for 3 on bench, and knowing that I hit what I did. All right, we've got Drayden Hannon on 1, representing Nina Powerlifting. And Nina Powerlifting, oh my goodness.
Another big grind on platform 1.
There's so many grinds on platform 1. Someone turn the gravity down. 2 to 1, no lift for depth on the side judges.
That's so unfortunate. I mean, it's unfortunate to miss a lift regardless, but when you stand up with it and then it gets called on some sort of technicality.
Yep. And you've got 2 lifters, kind of what Yuli was saying yesterday. You've got two kinds of lifters, different mindsets when you go into your third attempts. You can either dwell or you can forget about it and focus on doing well.
Exactly.
Shout out Yuli for that
good
amazing quote. But it's important to have a short memory in powerlifting. No matter what happens on the platform, it's always important to go on to the next lift, because who knows what may happen. That next lift may be the one thing that puts you over a PR total, maybe the one thing that puts you into the top 5, maybe top 10. Shoot, even the top 20, to be honest. Even making the top 20 in this group is insane.
Yeah, I mean, if you are, you start off not too well in the squats, you only walk away with your opener, not everyone is going to make all their lifts if you're in a battle.
Right.
People miss lifts, disaster strikes on bench or deadlift, and you could still be in the hunt. So that's why it's so important to have that short memory, kind of just forget about it, move on, just focus on bench, focus on deadlift.
Exactly.
Moving forward, essentially, because squats already happened. You can't change what happened in the past.
Fun fact, that's the motto for my team. Onward, upward, and forward.
Love that.
Mason Buckner on platform 3. That's 446 pounds. Judges are going to give him a good lift. Robert is on the, Basin is on the board. Taylor Thomas on 1. Santiago Sanchez
Wow.
on 2.
And
Both
Taylor,
taking 479.
Yeah, Taylor stood up with that 479. Looked like he had more in the tank.
Unfortunately, that's a no lift, though.
Oh.
We have 2
No
yellow
lift on
cards there. I
yellows.
wonder if it was...
Might have jumped to command. I didn't see anything wrong with it. Now, we cannot hear the commands on our end, so a yellow card would likely be commands, jumping a command.
I'm not sure what else it would be on squat, especially if it moved that well.
Yeah, I guess
and it
losing
wasn't
your
depth.
balance. Losing your balance, taking a step backward or forward.
That's possible. It was so it was caught by the front and one of the side judges, but not the other side judge. So that's very possible. He might have shifted his foot just a little bit.
Yeah.
And that is a rule in powerlifting, folks. When you're on the platform, you can't change your foot position. You had a great term yesterday. Once you make your footprint, you stay on it.
Exactly. That is true in the squat. So you could, if you start to lose your balance, shift from the toe to the heel. That's completely okay as long as you stay within that footprint. But if you were to lose your balance, take a step forward or backward, that's going to be a no lift. And speak of no lift, unfortunately that was a no lift on platform 1 from Travis Kim. And Travis, it's a bit interesting because he is kind of in contention for that top 5 position, but he's not going to be on the same platform as the lifters on platform 3. So it's a bit interesting because he could either finish his day first or finish his day after those lifters, just depending how the timing goes. And ideally, we would want all of those lifters that are in contention for top 10, top 5 placings to be on the same platform. But sometimes these lifters, especially since they're in high school, sometimes they make so much progress that you can't really predict that they're going to be in contention based off the total they put up previously. Sometimes they make so much progress and it doesn't show in their meet total. So you put them on one platform, but then they end up kind of being in contention with the other platform. So it's an interesting situation there.
And I don't know if you mentioned it, but I mean, similarly, I mean, it's almost impossible for some of our lifters that are going directly against each other to be on the same platform in some instances, because there's 65 lifters. There's no way we can fit 65 lifters on one platform.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, that would be impossible.
And that's going to be a harder job for the handler, and just a testament to how locked in they need to be, because God forbid someone that you're going directly against is on a separate platform. Well, now you've kind of got to pay attention to 2 different platforms.
Yeah, that's the importance of a handler, and especially at these national level meets, potentially you could get away with self-handling at a local meet, but especially if you're in high school, I would highly recommend getting a handler who knows what they're doing.
Exactly.
Not just your buddy who's lifting the next day. You could potentially, but getting a coach who's really experienced at calling the right numbers, looking through all of the platforms, like you said, because sometimes lifters who you're fighting against are going to be on different platforms, and there's different situations that the handler is going to run into where they've got to make quick decisions in this high pressure environment.
Ooh, folks, I don't know if y'all are paying attention on platform 2. Over on platform 2, we are on to our equipped powerlifting. So, folks, when we're talking about equipped versus raw, those are going to be the 2 primary divisions that we're going to see today. So, if equipped, our lifters are going to be using some form of a suit or assistive gear in order for them to lift a little bit heavier of the weight. It's not necessarily more impressive or less impressive than the raw lifters. In my opinion, I think it's a little bit more difficult to lift in equipment. You know, putting on a squat suit is extremely constricting. Putting on knee wraps, those things hurt, and they are tight. And so it's very, very hard to get into certain positions, especially death, because you're essentially fighting against the suit there.
Yeah, I mean, equipped lifting is a whole different monster. If you've never lived equipped, it is tough, to say the least. I mean, like you said, you're in this squat suit, which is often going to be very tight, very restrictive. You're in those knee wraps, also very tight, very restrictive, and it's going to be a little more difficult to not only lift in general, but to make depth, to meet the standard.
I think we're on second flight for all three of our platforms today. Sammy Strouch on platform 3. It's going to be 507 pounds. That's a good lift. And folks, we're jumping straight up to 250 kilos.
Whoa.
This is a heavy flight.
This is a big opener, and
This is raw.
yeah, this is raw. This is raw. This is the raw division, and Dylan in that hunt for the national title, currently projected at 625 kilos, while his direct competitor, Tori, projected him first at 630.
Good.
That is a tight spread, and the lifter just behind him, Chislun, projected at 615. I mean,
And we've got
platform
tons
3
of
is
lifting left.
Yes,
And
that's just projected based on very, very early in the day, and Dylan is going to blow
my God,
up
dude.
250 kilos.
Come on. Last warm-ups are in the warm-up room.
Let's see the judges say, white lights. We could see 6 for him. We could see 600. That
Easily.
was phenomenal.
Now, I wonder if he's one of those lifters that, because we see that a lot with especially larger lifters and big squatters, they take massive jumps all the way across the board. The opener will look super light. The second attempt, maybe 50 kilos up, still looks like a normal second attempt. Third attempt, maybe it's 20 kilos up from there, which is a massive jump under normal circumstances. But some people are just built like that.
Yeah.
Some people are just built
I mean, he
diff.
blew that up. That was phenomenal.
Now we're on to second attempts on platform 2. Andrew Leadham locked in for 127.5, 281 pounds. He is letting the heavy hitters know, watch me, I'm on your platform now.
And Waylon on platform 2, hitting his opener with 205 kilos. He is in our equipped division in the 90 kilo class.
Now, kind of what I was alluding to earlier with the squat suit, it's extremely canvas, or no, so it's made of a canvas type material. It's not giving at all. It's not giving.
It's not giving.
It's not very
giving easy.
It's giving hard. It's giving tough.
It's giving difficult.
But no, squatting against that suit is very, very difficult. And oftentimes, the weight on the bar is just there. More often than not, you're just trying to squat against the suit.
Yeah.
Because it's very, very hard to hit depth there. And you may keep going and going, and you may think you hit depth, and you might not.
You might think you buried it just because of how the suit feels. But then you look back, and you're like, whoa, that's like 2 inches high. That's why it's so important to get in that practice, especially in a suit. Have people with you or even video from the side to make sure that you are meeting that standard.
That's right.
I mean, if you're kind of, for better words, lying to yourself throughout training, saying, oh, this is depth, and it's 2 inches high, your body's not going to be acclimated to that. So by the time meet day rolls around, it's going to be super difficult for you to meet that standard.
Christian Lee on platform 1, easy 172.5, rocking one of my favorite SBD colorways, the OG navy blue and gold. Shout out SBD, our presenting sponsor for the High School National Championship.
Sky wrong on platform 3, jumping 15 kilos to 215 kilos. And another one of our lifters in contention for top 10 spot. Oh, and it's kind of tough, 215 for Sky. It wasn't an all-out grinder, but it was just a little bit tough. I wouldn't take another 15 kilo jump, to say the least. I'd probably go something like 5, maybe 7.5 from there, just because he rocketed out of the hole, but when he hit that sticking point, it just slowed down, and that's kind of where you want to judge a lift to see how much you've got left.
And that kind of plays into the importance of having a good handler there with you, because you may be coming off the platform, it looked slow, you may be like, oh no, I feel good. But objectively speaking, it probably felt okay, but it didn't move enough to inspire the confidence needed for that third attempt. And folks, we're just trying to make sure we're adding pounds to the total as best we can. Ethan Spry, platform 1, 175 kilos, 385 pounds. Matthew Moreira, he's a guest lifter today, going 230 kilos. Adriana, why would someone be a guest lifter?
So at these national level meets, you've got to make weight. And you can only change your weight class up to 2 weeks out from the meet. So after that, you are not allowed to change your weight class. The roster is going to be solidified from that point on. So if you were to miss weight, say you were cutting potentially for the 82.5s, and you weigh in at just a bit over 82.7, and you're not able to make weight, then you have to compete as a guest lifter. At other meets, especially local meets, sometimes the meet director lets you switch weight classes on the day. But at these high-level meets, you're not going to see that. You're going to see people compete as guest lifters, just because it's not really fair.
Exactly.
It makes it fair to make it so that the roster is solidified at 2 weeks out. The coaches know who to scout. They know who's going to be in contention going in. And if you throw someone in the mix on the day of, it just makes it not a fair game for those other lifters who have prepared for a certain roster to be coming in.
Exactly. Parker Anderson, he's got a singlet that says sandwich on it. I don't know if that's the name of his team. Could very well be. But so he is equipped. He's in our equipped division, but he's wearing a normal singlet, but electing to go knee wraps, so that is something you can do. Other federations do allow kind of a quote-unquote raw with wraps division. Unfortunately, we do not in the USAPL. So individuals are allowed to wear a normal singlet. They don't have to wear a squat suit. They don't have to wear a bench shirt. They don't even have to wear knee wraps. They could do sleeves and a squat shirt.
Yes.
But if you have either one of those or both on the platform, you've got to be lumped into the equipped division with the rest of the big uns. Here's Nick Shelsta on platform 1, 396 pounds. Tyler Collins on 3. They're getting the bar loaded for 496 pounds for a second attempt.
Dangerously close to that 500-pound mark. And Tyler, we're going to sound like broken records saying this all day, but Tyler, another one of our lifters in contention for the top 10 position, potentially even top 5. I mean, the spread between projected 4th and projected 8th is only 12.5 kilos. I mean, that's a missed deadlift.
That's small spread right there.
That's a missed deadlift. So, like we said, forecasted. It tells a story, but not the whole story. We have to see how lifting plays out, and we're going to see that right now with Tyler. Moved it relatively well. Got to see what the judges say. 2 to 1. Good lift, and we do have that front position that we're viewing from, and that's kind of where I thought the depth could be a little questionable, and that's where he got the red card.
I'm looking over on platform 1, too. Tucker Gillett has got to retake 142.5 kilos. This is 315 pounds if you're using pound plates, but Tucker looking to get on the board for the first time here with this second attempt squat. Let's see what he's got. It looked easy enough. I wonder if it did satisfy that depth for the judges. Unfortunately, no, that's going to be a no lift. Now that puts Tucker in a very, very tough spot. Do you elect to go up or do you stay just to get on the board?
I would stay, especially if it's a depth issue. You're potentially not used to hitting that depth in training. I would say. I mean, your body's not used to it, and typically, the heavier you go, the more difficult it is for your body to allow you to hit that depth. I mean, it's just survival. Honestly, if you're jumping 10 kilos and you're already kind of thinking about the depth, it's already in your head, your body might just cut the depth high just to, if it feels heavy on your back, you're kind of worried if you're going to get the lift, period, then your body might just cut the depth. So I would just stay.
Right.
Oh, and on platform 1, I think we have a situation potentially where the spotter grabbed the lift early. So I think the chief referee is talking to the lifter right now and potentially could give him a relift at the end of the flight. So with a relift, a lifter would have to retake their, let's say, second attempt at the very end of the flight. And that is the only time when you could go down and wait, when you have that sort of relift situation.
Oh, wow. Platform 3.
Dylan, the squat specialist.
17.5 kilo jump. I think
I'm
I was
excited
right.
for this.
I think I was right. He might be a big squat jumper because this is 589 pounds. We're dangerously close to 600. We're knocking on the door. Come on, Dylan.
And that's kind of why, oh, let's see the lift. Big squat here.
I want to cry.
Holy moly.
I want to cry.
I think he sunk that.
I'd like to have a word with that man's parents.
3 white lights.
And I want their diet regimen, whether it includes Miracle Grow.
I mean, he's going to go well over 600.
Oh, wow.
That was phenomenal. And that just kind of goes to show, if you're following along on LiftingCast, forecast the total does not tell the whole story. I mean, Dylan jumped 17.5 kilos there and blew it up. He's got a ton more. Whereas, I'm not going to make an example of anyone, but potentially some other lifters could not have the best day on squats, only walk away with their opener, only jump 2.5 or 5 kilos if their opener moves super hard. Whereas Dylan over here jumps 17.5, could very well jump 10 to his third attempt. And that is a huge spread from his opener that he is gaining on his total there. What is Dylan? Wow.
What did he just put in?
280. Dude, I mean, that is a good squat for an
anyone.
Open. Yes, anyone. Anyone, regardless of weight class. I'm excited. That is going to be
That's going
to
be, I think, one of 2 600-pound squats that we've seen at all this competition.
I think so. We should have kept a counter, honestly. But
I mean,
I'm
just to
excited.
put this into context, folks, these are 82.5 kilo lifters, 181 pounds body weight, sticking the equivalent of a smart car on their backs. Come on, man.
I'm excited to see that. I mean, the 82.5s, they're always stacked. Just because there are so many lifters in that weight class, that's naturally where a lot of the population is going to end up.
The future is bright.
Yeah.
Future is bright. These kids, if they stick with it, if they stay healthy, I have no doubt we're going to see them on some national stages soon. More national stages soon.
And we kind of get a sneak peek. I mean, we could see them at, oh, wow,
Come
big
on,
grind
Alex.
on platform 3. See what the judges say. Yep.
It's a good lift, 3 white lights.
Good lift. Awesome.
Logan Gaudreau on platform 2, another equipped lifter. Very smooth second attempt there at 215. I was just a hair, oh, never mind. That was a good lift, 3 white lights. And that was a good lift for Sam Stringer on 1. That's a 12.5 kilo jump for him. Up next is Valen. I apologize, I might not, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce your name and disrespect you, but Mr. Valen is going for 172.5, so that's a 7.5 kilo jump. And Waylon on platform 2 is also going for 215 kilos. It's 473 pounds. Very clean. David Lopez sounding off our third attempts for platform 3, 192.5 kilos. 7.5 kilo jump. Works out very well for him. He's excited. We can hear him in the background. Just like we say, these kids are putting their hearts into this. Their hearts are on their sleeve. They've given it all they've got for the past 2, 3, sometimes even 4 months leading up to this meet.
Toby, platform 2, in our equipped division, getting set up with 220 kilos. Taking kind of a big jump, 22.5 kilos.
Now, I will say, with equipped lifting, you can kind of get away with that a little bit more just because the suit, while it is restrictive, oh my goodness, his knee sleeve popped. Oh my goodness.
Unfortunately, no lift on depth.
That's a scary thing to see. When that knee wrap pops,
Did it pop out?
it looked like it did a little bit. It looked like it was kind of hanging just a smidge.
Yeah,
Hopefully it didn't. Maybe I saw it wrong.
Yeah, but now that's the thing with these big jumps. But what were you going to say? With equipped lifting, you can
so with equipped
see
lifting,
bigger
like the
jumps.
suit is restrictive and it's super, super hard. But not only is it restrictive, it protects. It keeps everything in its spot. It's like wearing really, really tight knee sleeves or a really, really tight singlet. It keeps everything tight, keeps everything locked and loaded, and it keeps the muscles and the natural body movements where they should be. And in that regard, you can probably get away with a little bit more and utilize a little bit more of the bounce from the suit or the knee wraps.
Yeah, but Toby there, like you said, took that big jump. And I kind of like to see that too, just getting on the board, especially as an equipped lifter. You see bomb outs a little bit more often. Just with the volatility of the suit, there's a lot that can go wrong. You've got to be so precise with your technique. So,
Johnny Vasquez. Massive grind for the second attempt. I don't know if I'd give that to him. Yeah, that was 3 reds on depth. Now, in that regard, I don't know that he's got any more kilos in him. I'd probably scratch.
was that only his second attempt?
Yep.
It's a tough situation
Yep.
because that's your second attempt, and you don't plan to miss your second attempt like that. You plan to get 3 for 3. So it's a tough situation because you could be telling yourself, hey, if I go out there, I think I can make it, and I can gain those 10 kilos that are left on the table. But if you just have to know yourself as a lifter, which is very difficult for lifters of these age. You could kind of, I was about to say big grind on platform 3. Sky walks away with 215 kilos. But yeah, it's a tough situation. Do you come back out trying to get those extra 10 kilos, or if you know yourself well enough to say, hey, there's no way I'm going to get that, then you might as well scratch, save that energy for deadlifts, because if you are coming back out for that third attempt squat and you know you're not going to get it, and this applies even if you didn't miss your second attempt. If you hit your second and it's an all-out grinder, we would really recommend just scratching your third, because if you go out to your third attempt, you jump the minimum 2.5, 5 kilos, and there's no way you're making it, you just walked out and tried to squat something that didn't go to towards your total at all. And in all honesty, could possibly hurt your total if you fatigue your back too much, if you strain your back, if you just fatigue yourself in general from missing a squat. The likelihood of missing your third deadlift after you miss your third squat,
Very, very high.
it's high. Yep.
Because at that point, your back is fried. It's done all the work it needs to do. It's had pounds on top of it. It's had pounds. I don't know where I was going with that. I couldn't think of another preposition that worked, but I think Strength Through Cinema himself, Michael Gagne, made a nice analogy. He said all the lifts are technically back lifts.
Yep, I feel that.
I mean, deadlift 100%. Yes, that's based off of the back.
Squat.
Chilson, oh my God, wait, he's one of the ones up for the top 5, I believe.
Yes, he is.
With a 12.5 kilo jump.
And yep, he went 3 for 3. We just saw him hit 227.5. That's that big milestone 500-pound number. And yeah, like you said, currently forecasted in 3rd place.
And now at the moment, it looks like Dylan, even just after second attempts, is kind of running away with it.
Or, well, the forecasted includes his big jump from the squat for the 3rd squat. So it's kind of an interesting situation where, yes, on the forecast, Dylan seems very ahead. That's if he makes his 3rd squat. And not everyone makes their 3rd squat.
Exactly.
So it's really great job from Chislin to go 3 for 3. And Tyler Collins is also going to want to do the same, as he's projected in 5th right now. Making those lifts is just so important. And Tyler, unfortunately...
That's a good grab there by the spotters and loaders.
Good grab from the spotters. Tyler, unfortunately, misses his 3rd squat. Took a big jump there, too. 12.5 kilos.
And unfortunately, that dropped him to project him to 7th.
Yeah. It's so tight. And it's crazy that it's going to be a battle all the way from, I mean, kind of 1 and 2 going at it, 3 in there, and then the battle to hit the top 5 as well. It's going to be tight between those lifters.
Yeah, we've got 3 lifters, 6th, 7th, and 8th, with the same forecasted total.
Wow. Just phenomenal. And now Tori, 242.5. We are well past the 500-pound mark. And he is currently projected in 2nd behind Dylan. Really in the fight for the national title. Can he go 3 for 3?
Yes, he can. Come on, judges.
He does it with ease. That looks great.
Beautiful.
3 for 3.
And that's what we really want to see when we're looking at these 3rd attempts. Yes, it's awesome to hit a PR. Yes, it's super cool and energetic to hit a grind on your 3rd attempt. But if you can go for a big number, let's say it is like maybe 5 pounds under your all-time PR, 10 pounds under your all-time PR, and it moves smooth, regardless of the weight, you save so much going into bench and deads. And that's going to be crucial because we've got 9 lifts, not just 1.
Yeah, it's not just a squat battle. It's not just a bench battle.
I mean, in my opinion, it's always a squat battle. But
it's a total battle, SBD. And
good lift on platform 2.
And you could potentially also kind of get greedy with it. You could have a lifter, you especially see this with some younger lifters, they go out, they hit their 3rd squat. It's not an all-out grind, but it's still a solid 3rd attempt, and they're like, oh, I had more in the tank. That's always going to happen with Monday morning quarterback. And Sammy, another one of our lifters, projected at 4th place, 252.5. That's a big squat. 556 pounds is huge.
Hold the phone.
But Dylan is just going to up that standard even more.
617 pounds.
Dude.
What?
What are we talking about here? Like, it is just, we're saying this over and over again because it's so true. It is just insane to see how many young lifters are coming up in the ranks and hitting crazy numbers.
I mean, even at this age, this kid could punch it with the biggins. He can punch it with the guys in the open.
Exactly. At younger and younger age, they're getting better. And this is, Dylan's a squat specialist.
Ooh, pause. We've got a close bomb out on platform 2. Cooper Kidwell. Oh, he's got to hit 210 in order to stay in. He got his last ones called on depth.
Yeah, and Cooper in the mix for top 3 in the equipped division. Hopefully he can come back from this. Oh.
He got to replace command there.
Oh, let's see Dylan with his 280 squat. Can he do it?
Oh,
just
man.
Too much.
That was close.
Just a little too much, and that puts him back.
What does that do for the forecast? Let's look at the forecast.
Puts him a lot closer to Tori.
Wow.
So much closer.
So he was running away. He was going to have probably like a 650, 550 somewhat total.
650 forecasted total based on his, and then unfortunately on platform 2, had a lifter bomb out. Cooper Kidwell. We do see that more often in equipped, just because that depth is going to be harder to find, to say the least. It's really unfortunate whenever you see these lifters bomb out, but you can still continue in the day. You can still bench and deadlift, and I would recommend that for all lifters, unless you're you don't want to risk some sort of injury. But it's great data for your coach, and it also just boosts the morale to end the day on a high note.
Very real. Oh, folks, looks like we're all finished with our squats on platform 3. We're going to move on to bench press. We're going to take a 10-minute break while we get set up. Give our spotters and loaders a break, give them some fresh water. We will see you in about 10 minutes. Folks, it's about 9:15. Go and get you a bowl of Apple Jacks and some whole milk. Make sure it's Fairlife, and we will see you in 10 minutes. Folks, hope you enjoyed your cereal. We're back on platform 3 to start the bench press. Now here's Hayden Jones. Again, he is going to retake that 162.5. Now he is coming off a little bit of a shorter break, like Adriana said, so it's going to be interesting to see whether he's able to rise to the occasion here. Let's see if he's able to lock in for this last deadlift attempt. Here we go, Hayden Jones for the varsity men's 358. Or sorry, for the men's 82.5 kilo weight class. This is 358 pounds. Here's Hayden Jones. All right, Hayden, let's see it. Come on, bud. Oh, he finds his way. What a gritty human he is. Hayden Jones. I'll give it to him. Oh, no, that's going to be 2 reds from our side judges, unfortunately. And that's going to wrap up all of our squats for session 1. Ladies and gents, we are going to take a 10-minute break. It is now 9:24. Go ahead and grab you some bacon and eggs, give you some OJ, and we'll see you in about 10 minutes. Bars loaded on platform 3 for Sean Wilson, and we are cruising into our bench press action for today. Bars loaded for Sean Wilson. We don't know where he's at. He is not reported to the platform.
Hey, how much time is Sean at?
20 seconds. Bar still loaded there for Sean Wilson. Just saw him run out of the warm-up room. I wonder if he's going to be able to make it out. Let's see. All right, Sean Wilson, unfortunately, does not come out in time for that lift, so he is going to get a missed opening attempt on that squat there due to timeout. Folks, when we're talking about timeouts here, you have 1 total minute regarding your attempt. So if you receive that start command before that time runs out, you don't have to worry about it. But if you do not get that start command within that 1 minute allotted, you won't be able to get the lift. Caleb Miller, I don't think we announced anything on platform 3 yet, because there's some lifters that aren't even on the platform yet. All right, Caleb Miller, unfortunately, he is going to have to scratch this opener attempt as well. Did not come out in time, so that is going to be a timeout. And that doesn't necessarily play too much of an effect on what happens in terms of attempt selection and things like that. Well, I mean, it definitely does, because that is technically a missed lift. However, it's not necessarily on strength. So you may be able to see a little bit of a comeback here from some of our lifters.
Testing.
Oh.
I think you muted yourself.
No, I was on.
Oh, okay. We're
No,
good?
I'm on 3. You're on 2.
Okay.
Yep.
We're back.
So back. Caleb Weigert on platform 3. 30 seconds. It looks like he's made it to the platform. Easy attempt there. All right, now that we're on to the bench press here, actually, I'm going to wait to get into the nitty-gritty of it until platform 2 gets caught up. I don't want to repeat myself too much. But here's Tristan Ardoin, 242-pound opener.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Blew that up. Nice job from Trenton.
Moving on to Andy Wynn, 248 pounds. All right, Andy Wynn gets that start command over on platform 3. Ooh, he comes away smooth, a little bit slow. And, you know, kind of going back to normal attempt selection, if something moves a little bit slower than you expected, that's definitely going to play a role in how we continue the rest of the meet. Dylan Paul, platform 3, 112 and a half kilos, 248 pounds. And folks, we are back to the action on platform 2. Welcome to the bench press. Hope you enjoyed your bacon and eggs.
Levi is going to be starting off on platform 2. He's our lifter who is competing in the 90 kilo class, our only lifter in the raw 90 kilo class this session, electing to lift a little bit earlier, potentially a scheduling info.
And now that we are on the bench press on at least 2 platforms, we can kind of get into it now. So with the bench press, you've got 3 commands: the start, the press, and the rack command. So with that start command, the referee needs to see that your elbows are locked, butt is on the ground, feet are in contact, and you are in complete control of the bar. Now, once you satisfy that, you will get the start command. You bring the bar down to the chest. It has to remain motionless on the chest. Can't be hovering, can't be bobbling, can't be bouncing. It has to stay completely motionless in the view of the head referee. From that point, once the referee deems it has become motionless,
you get the press command.
Yes, sorry, just got a little bit distracted here. But then, once you finish the press, once you lock out, get those arms locked out, and you're still showing that you are in control of the bar all the way to the end, you'll get the rack command. That's probably one of the ones we see the most jumped.
Yes, for sure.
A lot of folks don't really train with that rack command. A lot of folks just press and throw it right back into the rack. You've got to wait that extra second or two for the head referee to show that, yes, you can really control that weight.
Yeah, we don't want to give a lift that, even though a lifter has a strength for it, if you don't show complete control of the weight, we've said this time and time again, you've got to have a standard across the board for these lifters to make it a legitimate sport, almost.
Exactly. And now going into kind of the rules of the bench press, aside from the commands, what are some of the other things we're going to be looking for?
So, as you said, we are going to be looking for the shoulders to stay in contact, the butt to stay in contact. That's a big one. Some lifters, if a lift gets really tough, they end up lifting their glutes off the bench. It makes it a little easier. So the butt's got to stay in contact. Feet have got to stay flat on the floor. Some federations allow you to just have feet in contact with the floor. In USAPL, you've got to have your entire foot flat on the floor. So missing any of those points, especially the butt and the feet, that would give you a yellow card by the referees, which would give you a no lift. And yellow card could also be for jumping the command. Like you said, you've got to listen for the commands. And a blue card is the other most common one. So a blue card would be either up and down motion or soft lockout. And the soft lockout is going to come from the elbows. So the referees are looking for your elbows to be relatively straight, kind of like the knees. They don't have to be a straight line, like, I mean, because the elbows will pop out a little bit, but
Exactly.
You've got to be locked out with the elbows, as Aiden on platform 2 demonstrated beautifully.
Sorry, locked out, locked in.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to be locked out, locked in with getting those elbows. You've got to train that way. I've seen some lifters always train with soft elbows throughout their training, and it comes back to bite them when they're on the platform because you're not used to having that extra little range of motion at the top of the lift.
All right, we're now on to, looks like fellow family member Richard Stevens. We're not actually related, but he's a brother to me. 135 kilos locked in, 297 pounds. And Tucker Corbin, that's going to be 2 white lights. Oh, twin, where have you been? Easy opening there for Richard Stevens. All right, Nolan Schmidt's going to take his opening attempt, 102.5 kilos. All right, here's Nolan Schmidt on platform 2, 102.5, that's 225 kilos. A casual 2-plate date for the lad, and over on 3, Aaron Potzel. 147.5, that is a good lift. Folks, if you're tuning in on this platform but want to check the action on platform 1, we are approximately 3 minutes out. Here's Brendan Murphy coming right behind, going to add 2.5 kilos to that, so we're into the 230s, 231 pounds. And then Blaine Parsons on platform 3, 220 pounds, folks. Another thing we want to watch out for is same thing with the squat. We want to watch out for downward motion or any sort of up and downward motion that looks outside of the normal motion of the bench press. And we're on to our second attempts already on platform 3. 100 kilos, that's 220 pounds. And coming up to platform 3, Caleb Miller. He did miss that opener at 225 pounds. So he is going to retake that, which is a smart choice. You most often don't want to go up there because then you run the risk of missing that lift on strength. All right, here's Sammy Ireland, 107.5. All right, here's Caleb. Can he find his way up? I think he does. Yep, Mans is on the board. Mans is hot, Caleb Miller. Now coming right behind, Sean Wilson's gonna take the same thing. Folks, we are 1 minute out from the action on platform 1. Jackson Hanks. Platform 2, 242 pounds, 110. And he's going to give 110% of all of his efforts today. Shout out the supplement company and the mastermind, Kevin Papa. Just released the new dill pickle lemonade flavor, out now. All right, Sean Wilson, again, like we said, is going to reach. He did go up 2.5 kilos, but that looks solid.
It looked good. Let's see.
That's going to be good lift, 2-1. So he is on the board. So one of those situations where you really got to know your lifter and you've really got to know what they're able to adapt to. Because in normal situations, you wouldn't want to go up after a missed attempt because, like you said, we're going to risk missing on strength. But I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
You're just gonna know your lifter well enough to know if it was just a little mishap, that they have the composure, that they could come back and correct it on the second, even if you go up by a small amount, 2.5, 5 kilos. And in that situation where you kind of have to repeat your opener or just go up by a small amount, you're just trying to bridge the gap between your opener and potentially your third attempt. Because say you get your opener in the normal situation, you're going to take a healthy jump to your second attempt. But if you're having to repeat, you might not want to jump to that second attempt plan just because there is an extra risk there since you don't have your opener on the board.
Exactly right. platform 1, we're back locked and loaded. It looks like Andy Wynn. That was a good lift. And we are now officially live on all 3 platforms. Bars loaded for Jacob Schwab on platform 1, 80 kilos, 176 pounds. We are moving a little bit fast on platform 3. We're already on to second attempts, I guess midway through. This is 265 pounds. And that's a good lift on platform 2 for Connor Scott, 264 pounds. And that was a good lift for Joseph on platform 3 as well, coming up behind Dylan Paul, same weight, bars loaded. All right, here's Dylan Paul, no relation to Logan.
Logan Paul.
Or Jake, hopefully. But here's Dylan Paul. Hopefully not as cringe. 120 kilos, 264. Nice.
And that bench did not look cringe. Looked great. Let's see what the judges say.
That call, kind of cringe.
I agree. 1 yellow card, 1 blue card.
That looked clean for me. Like I know we were saying that this whole time, but like that
clean.
looked objectively clean to me. Now in that case, it's a second attempt, so it wouldn't necessarily go to the jury for that one.
Yeah, I agree.
But on a third, 100% go over to the jury. Because why not? It's free.
Yeah. And since he got a yellow card from the side, that could have potentially been his butt raising up. And he did get a blue, so I think that side referee might have thought there was downward motion there.
Okay.
Wow, Trenton smoked 125 on his second attempt on platform 3.
And we are starting second attempts on platform 2. Levi, your anchor. I do hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. This is a 15-kilo jump on bench press. That is wild. That is wild. 15 kilos is an insane jump for anybody, especially on bench. But hey,
yeah, especially on bench.
Maybe that opener flew and I just missed it. Oh my goodness, folks. We've got Gino Powerlifting, the pirate of powerlifting, spotting this bench on platform 1.
Maybe one of the spotters needed a break.
Wow.
And it looked good. Good opener for
Gino's as
Jacob.
good as them all.
Gino, the man of many talents, many hats. Platform 3 had to put in a bit of work for 132.5, but it looked like a solid second attempt.
And just want to say, Levi over on platform 2, I know we were talking about that big 15-kilo jump. He smoked it like it was last week's barbecue. Here's Derek's son on platform 3, 5 kilos up. And Jacob Courtney's about to get the lift off for 97.5. That's a good thing to mention too, folks. All of our lifters do have the option to get a lift off. And so what that means is the back spotter will just assist the lifter in taking it out of the rack. No assistance beyond that point, obviously, just to get it out of the rack. There's no spotting on the way down. You've got to be out of the way of the referees.
And that's why they kind of run, you see them run out of the way once they give that lift off, because they don't want to hold it too long, give the lifter an extra few seconds delay in getting that start command. It feels like 5 minutes. 5 seconds can feel like 5 minutes when you're holding a weight, you're waiting for that start command, especially if it's a weight near your max attempts.
Right.
And that's kind of why I would recommend to a lot of people to train having long holds during your training.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We were saying yesterday, train for all possible scenarios.
Yeah.
Say you take forever and get a start command. Stand there and do some heavy holds.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. You got to be used to any situation that you could run into on the platform.
Ooh.
Good work there. platform 3.
Sohan hit a little bit of a sticking point right in the middle, right at that transition from chest and shoulders to triceps. But 2-1, he's on the board. And there's a blue card indicated from the head referee, so maybe they saw a little bit of downward motion on that as well. But he's on the board regardless, and we know to change that for next time. Coming up next is my twin. Twin, where have you been?
Twinning them, Richard Stevens. 150, 15-kilo jump.
Another one. Call that man Khaled, no DJ. Up on 2 while he's getting set up. Tucker Corbin, that's a good lift, 2-1. And Julian Tavares opening up with 95 kilos, 209 pounds from St. John's Prep.
3 white lights, good lift on 1.
Here's Richard. Wow.
Handled that with ease, 15-kilo jump.
My goodness.
Where will he go from there? And that's a relatively big bench, 330 pounds. Nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, do you know how long it took me to get to 330? My gosh. And these kids are like
I can't deadlift
15.
330 right now, and they're benching it. Aaron, platform 3. Platform 3 is really an exciting one. Aaron's going to be in that fight for top 5 placing. And he ended up missing his 3rd attempt squat, so that's why it is ever the more crucial to make every lift from here on out. Go 3 for 3 in the bench, build that total, make the other competitors reach, so that you're in that prime position to get in the top placing. Yep, I held my breath there.
He jumped that rack command, didn't he?
Yeah, he jumped the start command.
Oh, start command, okay.
I was seeing him trying to explain to the judges there, but he...
So what I imagine happened here, might some miscommunication there from the head spotter to the lifter to the judge. Everyone takes their liftoffs a little bit differently, right?
Yes.
And so some people, once they get their handoffs, they go right into the press. Some folks take an extra 2 seconds. Some folks try and get their positioning first and get their brace. What I think might have happened here is, in that case, he's probably used to getting under it and benching a little bit early as soon as he gets that lift off. Like we were talking about, you got to hold it that extra half second. But important too, got to let that head spotter know, like, hey, once you lift it off, I'm going to take a second. And then even further, let that head referee know, hey, if I'm not completely set, this is what it looks like when I am set. Because last time it was, like I said, the referees don't want you to miss a lift. So anything you can do to help them out can only be to your benefit. Blaine Parsons on platform 3 has to get some help with that one. Not able to find his way up with 107. Now Sean Wilson right behind, 110 kilos.
Missed his opener, went up 2.5 kilos anyways. Handled it well. It was pretty easy. Now he takes a jump to 110 kilos for his 3rd attempt bench press.
Here's Hong Fan on 1. 214 pounds.
I think it looked good. Okay, 2-1. So he got a blue card from the head referee. That was for soft elbows there, but he still gets the lift. He's on the board.
Soft elbows, folks. Once again, once you press and you want that rack command, your arms have to be completely locked out. We want a straight line from forearm to shoulder.
Locked in, locked out.
If that's not the motto for this weekend.
I think that is the motto from now on.
Locked in, locked
perpetually.
out. All right, Caleb Weigert on 3. We're on 3rd attempts for our first flight, going up 5 kilos.
Brandon Murray, platform 2, makes easy work with the 2nd attempt, 115 kilos.
And folks, with the bench press, we're going to see a lot of varying techniques here, similar with the squat. You're going to see differences in grip, width. Some folks opt for a close versus a wide or vice versa. You're going to see differences in descent speed. Some people like to tank it to the chest. Other people like that slow, controlled tempo. You're going to see soft touches, and you're going to see sinks. Soft touches just means a very, very soft touch on the chest. That way you let the head referee know
it's motionless.
That it
Give
is
me that press
motionless,
command.
yeah. And a little bit harder with the sink because you're sinking it into your belly. It's technically looking like it's still moving down, so it's harder to get that press command there. But it does provide you a little bit more power off the chest.
Yeah, it just comes down to preference. The lifters' strength profiles where they're strongest. Like if they're stronger off the chest, they might choose a wider grip. Stronger with the triceps, might choose a little bit of a closer grip. And that's part of what makes powerlifting interesting too. You're not gonna, I mean, imagine how boring it would be if it was the same thing. Everyone had the exact same form across all 3 lifts. That would be so boring. It's really interesting to see how
The individuality.
Yes, and how each lifter plays to their strengths in order to maximize the weight lifted.
Just as for Noah Jackson, 102.5, 225 pounds from Cross Legs Powerlifting Club.
Mega close grip there.
Close grip. He also sunk it just a little bit there as well. But he got a decently fast press command, so even with that sink, he was able to show the referee that he took it motionless. That bar has stopped moving. And I deserve that I deserve that press command. And that was a missed lift for Andy on platform 3, but he comes away with 117.5 onto the total. Dylan Paul, no relation to Jake or Logan, is going for 125 kilos, missing his second at 120, going up to 125.
Now, he was the lifter who got the cringe call. He got a yellow card and then a blue card, so it wasn't a strength issue. I think it moved fairly well, but it was just some sort of technical issue. And I believe we said it looked clean from our view, so hopefully he can get those extra kilos with 125.
Here's Dylan.
That's the issue.
Not able to get off the chest, folks. That's
the dicey thing with missing a lift and jumping up anyways. It is so dicey, especially on bench, where 2.5 kilos, since the load is going to be relatively lower than what you're taking in a squat and deadlift.
So much heavier.
It's going to be a larger percentage of the lift, and you're literally holding the weight in your hand. So that 2.5, 5 kilos, that can make a world of difference. Where for that lifter, 120 moved relatively well, 5 kilos, and that was it. That was it for the day. So he still walks away on the board. But that's just the dicey thing with missing a lift and going up anyways.
Right.
I would recommend to all, or almost all lifters who are kind of new in the game, especially
please keep the same weight.
Yes, please. Just keep the same weight. Just try to get those kilos that you don't want to leave on the table.
Exactly.
It's part of building a total, too.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, every kilo counts. Every kilo counts. And along with that, oh crap, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Every kilo counts, and if you are jumping up anyways, then I mean, every kilo counts. You're leaving those kilos on the table, walking away with just your opener.
Yep, and not only that,
it's gonna put a tick in your total.
Exactly, and that's gonna make it harder to come back from. But not only that, we also don't want to add too many unknowns. Right,
yes.
For a meet that can, for a situation that can already be so unpredictable for lifters, handlers, coaches, refs, anyone in the meet, to add one more unknown to that is just going to be very difficult to overcome. Up next on platform 1, Evan Lampkin. We're still on openers there. 275 pounds. Oh, they changed the music up a little bit.
Okay.
Playing some Pearl Jam. Any of my oldies fans in the house?
Never heard of them.
You've never heard of Pearl Jam?
I'm just kidding. I have.
Okay. Woo! You know, it's an even flow. Yeah, no, nothing? Okay. All right. Here's Evan Lampkin. Interesting, they're going to give him that.
Okay. That was a bit tough for an opener. Let's see if he gets it. 3 white lights on the board.
Now, I'm interested to see. I'm glad to see he got that start command a little bit early, but it looked like his elbows were just a little bit bent. Now, some people are just built like that. Some people just have anatomical, I want to say limitations, but anatomical aspects that may not allow them to lock out completely fully. Maybe they have some bicep issues. Maybe they just have, interesting bone structure, you know, whatever it may be, that may not be able to allow them to lock out completely fully.
Derek's son, 3 for 3 in the bench, turning around from missing his second squat, coming back, hitting it on his third, going 3 for 3 in the bench, and that's going to help him out with his total. He's currently forecasted in 5th, and it's a shame that he is in the first flight, whereas the lifters he's going to be going against, I mean, some of them are in the first flight as well, but a couple are in the second flight, where he is going to end up having to finish his day first. But he's going to be trying to put up the highest total he can, trying to pull into potentially 3rd place, but likely more like 4th, 5th. Just going to try to place as high as possible. And he really built momentum there, going 3 for 3 in the bench.
Absolutely, and it's huge. Like we were talking about at the very beginning, you know, we have to make our attempts. Every attempt counts. Like we see with Derek, he did a lot better job of solidifying that 5th place and widening the gap about 30 kilos projected from Richard's. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong.
It's so tight.
I read that way wrong. Oh my gosh, that's a very tight race. 2.5 kilos between Derek and twin Richard Stevens. But hold on.
Your twin is putting in a record.
Hold up.
That we are going to see in just a few attempts on platform 3. You're going to want to tune into this. He has jumped 28 kilos.
It's got to be in the name. Got to be.
I think it might be. Let's try to see what sort of record this is. Now, we did have a situation last night where there was a bit of mishap with what records could be taken. So the rule goes that you are only allowed to take records that you are, for the division you are registered in.
Absolutely.
So this isn't teen nationals, this is high school nationals. So you technically should not be able to chip a teen record because that would give you sort of an unfair advantage. If you're a teen 1 competing against the teen 3, then likely those teen 1 records are going to be lower and you're going to have an easier time getting that extra chip.
Exactly.
Now, Aaron, big bench here, 165. Missed his second, went up anyways. Can he come back? It's dicey. We see that time and time again. Lifters miss an attempt to go up anyways.
And now I want to say that this does play into the experience of the lifters.
Yes,
when you're going into a meet, I mean, obviously you want to keep adding pounds to the total, but you get more meets under your belt, you realize it's a lot easier to stay in the pocket, you would say, and make sure we just get on the board.
And we sound like broken records time and time again, building the total. It really, really comes down to getting the most kilos you can on the day. So if you miss your second and it's a dicey proposition, you're not 1,000% sure that you're going to get your third by taking a jump, just repeat the second. It's totally fine to, it's kind of a gamble. It's like you're retaking your second, leaving potentially the jump you would have made to your third 5 kilos or so, but you're gambling by jumping to that third attempt weight. You're gambling all of those kilos from your opener to your third attempt. So it's just dicey. Now we have a situation on platform 3. Yep, this is the exact same situation we ran into with last night's session.
Yep.
So Richard with 178 is trying to take the teen 2 world record in the bench press, 178. All right, and now they got that sorted out. So this is exactly what we talked about. He cannot take that chip because it would be an unfair advantage to the other competitors to take a chip in the teen division when this is high school nationals, not teen nationals. So they bumped up his attempt by 2 kilos to make it be
an even 180.
Yes, an even 180, a standard attempt that you can take. And this is a huge bench. And this is a huge jump.
396 pounds.
30 kilo jump on bench.
For twin Dick Stevens.
We're going to see how it goes because 150 did fly. And I was like kind of thrown off by how well it flew. So we're going to see. We're going to see. I want to see him do it. Let's see this world record, teen 2.
Come on, Richard. It's not going to move, unfortunately.
It's just too much.
It's not going to go.
And
Hey, he's not happy with it, unfortunately, but I mean, he's still got a good margin within that first place spot going into deadlifts.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're going to try to take a shot at a world record or American record, this is the place to do it.
Absolutely. You're never going to, I mean, you might be on the national stage one more time, but
I mean, especially
you only live
if,
once.
Yes, especially if Richard, he was 17. This could be his last year in high school. So this could be the last opportunity that he has to take that Teen 2 record. He could be, I mean, he's going to turn 18 at some point, and he's at the top of the Teen 2 class. So, hey, it was a big jump. It was dicey to take that big of a jump on bench, but I applaud him for taking a shot at it.
For going for it.
Yeah,
hey,
just go for
twin,
it.
I respect it. On to our second flight of bench press on platform 3. Alex Lam's going to start us off with 181. Hong Fan on platform 1, 3 white lights. Cruising with our second attempt benches on 1, third attempt benches on 2. Now, Braden electing to go the same weight for his third attempt, but I don't think it's going to budge. That might have been just a bit big of a jump. 7.5 kilos, not exactly sizable, kind of on the higher end for a bench jump. And for some folks, you know, I mean, we see, especially with our lady lifters, 2.5 kilos
Can make
comparative
all the
to the body weight.
difference.
Yeah. 2.5 kilos comparative to body weight, that could, that's an alert to gravity to say, hey, I gotta stop this. Alex Lam a little bit slow through the lockout there on 3, but slow, folks, is a lot different than slowing down. If it's slow, it's consistent movement, it's something that you're confident in finishing. But if it slows down, that means that there's a sticking point involved, and that
You've got to judge
there's
it
some
off the
extra
sticking
things
point.
to overcome there.
I've seen so many people where they potentially have a closer grip, or they're just stronger in the chest, where it shoots off their chest and it's so fast, but then it slows down as you transition from the chest to tricep usage. And since it's so fast off the chest, they might say, oh, I've got 5 kilos, I've got 10 kilos. They make the jump and it's just too much. You've got to judge it off the sticking point as a handler and as a lifter.
Andrew Leadham on 3, going for a very wide grip there. That's a good lift. Up on 1, Finnegan Bruker, 10 kilos up.
Handled it well. Looked pretty good for a second.
Now 10 kilos definitely on the high end there for a bench attempt. I mean, don't tell Dylan Albert that. But like you said, he handled it very well. He's going to come back good for his third. Here's Graham on 2. Not able to find enough juice off the chest there. Now, question for you. What effects, if at all, aside from range of motion, would having a super high arch do for our lifters?
Now, the main one is going to be the range of motion. We are trying to lift the most weight possible, so putting yourself in that arch position allows you to typically lift more weight, but it also helps out with your shoulder health. If you are lifting with a very flat back or with a little arch, you could run into having shoulder problems just because of the way the lift goes. But with an arch, you're going to put your shoulders in a healthier position. And like we said, what are we trying to do here? We're trying to lift the most weight. And
there's no rule against arching. You're trying to lift within the constraints of the rules, and that is within the rules. As long as you keep your 3 points of contact, shoulders, butt, feet, you're Gucci.
All good.
Joe Fagan, 7.5 kilos up. That's a good lift. He's having a great day thus far. 5 for 6 on the day, only missing that last attempt squat. Here's Robert Turner on platform 3, taking 253 pounds.
Noah Jackson on 1 blew up 112.5 kilos. 2 to 1, good lift. Again, seeing a 10-kilo jump. It's a big jump, but these lifters a lot of them are handling it well.
Oh, Connor Scott, great job. It looked like he wanted to rack it a little bit early, but he held it there very well, waited for that rack command, And that's going to be a good lift for him.
Yeah, sometimes as a chief referee, you, like you said, the referees want you to succeed. So whenever you're the chief referee, you have to wait for the lifter to be motionless to give them the rack command. And sometimes it's a little tough if you see a lifter kind of edging towards the rack at the end, and you want to give them that rack command, but you kind of have to wait until they're motionless. So if you are ever watching and you see a lifter get a longer rack command, that could be why. And it's kind of hard to tell from the front if someone is drifting a little bit towards the rack, but they just want to make sure that the lift is up to standard. They're not racking it early. They're not giving the rack command early as well. We want to be fair to all of our competitors. And someone named Joanne Craig gave me a different perspective on being not necessarily a tough judge, but just following the standards. You might feel bad as a referee, especially as a newer referee, if a lift is very contentious or very close and you have to give that red light, you have to call it as it is. You might feel bad, but at the same time, you're just being fair to the other competitors.
Exactly right.
If you're a referee and you're just giving out gifts, these squats are high, these benches are, they jump the command or their butt's coming up. If you're giving out gifts to quote unquote be a nice referee,
That's not helping them.
It's not helping. You're not being fair to the competition. The other competitors are going to turn around and say, hey, I could have placed over this person if they didn't get that squat that was egregiously high. So that's why these referees, they are really committed to upholding the standard.
And I think we saw a lot of that, especially after last year's Raw Nationals.
Yes.
We saw, it was the biggest Raw Nationals ever, but we also saw the most bomb outs ever in a national championship.
Yeah.
Which is huge. That's not something you want to see, but.
And people are kind of talking about those depth calls, especially.
Exactly.
Depth is one that is controversial at some point.
Exactly. And
we're trying to uphold the standard. If I know and you do too as a referee, when someone's about to bomb out, you feel terrible. Especially if you bombed out before, as I have, you feel terrible. You know it's not going to feel good for the lifter, but you cannot just give out gifts. Imagine a lifter is about to bomb out. You know their squat is high. You give a gift. They end up placing within the top 5. That changes other lifters' game day plans. It changes the positioning. So these referees, they're trying to judge each lift on its own in an objective point of view.
Here's Chislin Niang. I'm going to ask him how to pronounce his name when he gets back here. 132.5 kilos, that's 292.
Chislin in the fight for top 3, potentially top 2, potentially 1, depending how lifting plays out.
He does have a pretty high deadlift opener compared to Tori, who's right ahead of him. So
and he blew up that opener. He's going to, at least based on openers, people could change their openers up until 3 minutes before the fight starts. And he potentially will have the deadlift advantage. And could you explain a little bit what the deadlift advantage is? I know we're not on deadlifts, but just looking ahead at the battle here.
Yeah, of course. So with the deadlift advantage, it's the story of the meet isn't going to be told until we get to deadlifts, right? There's like we said, up until this point we've been looking at forecasted placings. Now, once we get into deadlifts, you are able, if you're able to load any heavier weights on there, comparative to
your competitors.
Anyone else comparative to the competitors, that's going to give you just a little bit more advantage because let's say you're in the top 3, right? Let's say there's 5 kilos separating each of them, 5 kilos from first, second, and third. Third individual sitting in third has deadlift advantage, opened super, super high. He may be able to come away with the win should he be able to pull more than what his competitors do because he's used to deadlifting. That's his specialty.
Yes, and because he is going to have, if you've got the last deadlift of the day, you're going to have that advantage of knowing what your competitors have already done, knowing exactly what you need to total to beat them. And on your third attempt deadlift, you're going to have 2 changes. So you can see some gamesmanship come into play.
Oh, yeah.
Adrian Morrow on platform 1 missed his opener, went up 10 kilos anyways. See how he handles it. Not quite sure what he missed his opener on, but I imagine it was some sort of technical issue.
Let's hope he breaks the trend.
Yeah, let's hope he gets this.
Come on, Adrian. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it looked clean.
That was good.
that looked like an opener.
It looked like a little bit of soft elbows right at the end there, but not seen by the referees, so that's a good lift. He's on the board.
Yeah, looked good.
Now here's Tori Fasciano, like we said, currently projected second, but is trying to get as much on the bench as he can so he can fend off Chislin for that second place spot. It looked like a good lift for him on platform 3.
Yeah, 150, that's a big bench opener. He could potentially cross over the 350-pound mark, 160 kilos. He could definitely cross over that by the time we get into his third attempt.
And we've got bar loaded on platform 2 for Matthew Moreira. 275 pounds. Up next on 3 is Alex Lame with 192 pounds, representing Boston Latin. I believe they're coached by executive committee member Eric Cordero out of Boston.
The man, the myth, the legend.
One of the staples of executive powerlifting. He's done a lot for this sport. I mean, he's coaching one of the biggest high school teams at this meet. And is really just doing the business of powerlifting. I like to say that quite a bit. Just doing the business of powerlifting, giving back to the sport whenever you can.
Yes, he puts in a ton of work into giving back into the sport.
Along with that, folks, I also want to say, if you haven't volunteered at a meet yet, sorry, Adrienne is wearing the meat tee from my last ever meet. The last meet that I competed in before my major injury. Thanks.
Before
Appreciate
what?
it. Before my knee surgery. Or before I actually broke my knee. Primetime 22 was my last one.
This was also the last meet I competed in before my back injury.
Yep. Something about Carolina Primetime. Wonder who hosted that.
Something about
Palmetto
it.
State Barbell. I wonder who owns that. No, I'm kidding. No, I mean.
Something in the air there. I don't know.
Something in the Carolinas. Real quick, too. I mean, Carolina Primetime, just touch on that. I mean, shameless plug. Palmetto State Barbell puts out some phenomenal meets. Let's be honest. Carolina Primetime, I mean, the trilogy of time.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
The trilogy of all time. And
we've seen some top names come out of the Carolina Primetime.
Yeah,
Brandon Petrie. That's the big one, folks.
Brandon Petrie is the staple.
Brandis Dye.
Brandis Dye, yep. And PSB puts up some phenomenal streams as well.
Shout out Marshall Powell, the chief executive guy. Also, want to give a quick shout out to the folks that are out in the field capturing these moments for our lifters. We want to give a shout out to Barbell Productions. They're running the social media for today. I also want to give a quick shout out to Strength Through Cinema, Michael Gagne, as well as Stellar Shots, Jake and Casey. They're going to be capturing all the moments for our lifters on each platform. Reese Butler comes up with 105. That's a good lift, and we're on to third attempts on platform 1. And we are now on to our second flight of benches on 2. These are going to be our equipped lads. So, Adriana, tell us a little bit about a bench shirt.
I don't know too much about a bench shirt, in all honesty. I don't know too much. I've never tried out a bench shirt, but I know that it is kind of similar to a squat suit in the sense that it is very, very tight and restrictive on the lifters. You're often going to see equipped lifters bring down the bench or bring down the lift a lot slower, a lot more controlled, and that is because they are literally fighting against the shirt in order to reach their chest.
Absolutely.
You
and
can
so
see this from Toby on platform 2, going down
get to
so
the chest.
slow.
Oh my goodness. Come on, finish. Nice. Okay.
And you often see that 3 white lights, good, 2 white lights, good lift for him. You often see that super explosive nature in equipped lifting where they have to bring it down so slow. They're fighting against the shirt to hit their chest. That's actually where the red card comes from in the bench press. A red card is not used very often, especially in raw lifting. But in equipped, the red card is a failure to touch the bar to your chest. So if you're kind of hovering the bar, that it does happen in raw very rarely, but more often in equipped. That is because these lifters are literally fighting against the suit to try to reach their chest, and it is very, very difficult to do.
And one thing to note about that, it's not as simple of a matter as let's add more weight.
No.
You're basically doing a reverse row
Yeah.
against the suit, because
You're
that
really
suit,
using those back muscles.
if you're watching our lifters walk to the platform over on two, their arms are right outside their body. They look like they can't move them. That's a very, very restrictive movement. It takes effort to get into those suits.
It takes
and even
practice,
more
too.
effort to surpass the restrictions of those suits.
Tyler Collins on 3, coming out to 127.5, 7.5 kilo jump. Andy Tran on 1, 107.5, taking just the minimum you can, 2.5 kilos. And you'll see that relatively often in the bench, especially from lifters who are lifting a relatively lighter weight, just because that 2.5 is a larger percentage of the weight. So let's see how Andy handles this 2.5 kilo jump. Handled it well. I think that was the good call. I think that was a great call.
Great call there by the handler. And good show there for Andy, able to lock that out. He comes
3 for
away,
3.
5 for 6 on the day. Looking very strong going into deadlifts. All right, here's Mason Buckner, 137.5 kilos. 303 pounds are locked in for Mason Buckner. And on platform 1, Finnegan Bruker, 242 pounds. We are on third attempts, but we do have one more flight after this one on platform 1. We are on our last flights of bench on platforms 2 and 3. Uh-oh, look who's up to the platform now, Mr. Dylan Albert. 135 to 140, so hey, that's an average jump. I mean, that's 5 kilos.
And Dylan is currently forecasted in first. He was our squat specialist from the squat event. Currently forecasted in first in the 82.5 kilo battle. And I kind of like this approach where he is taking a relatively conservative jump, 5 kilos, just trying to really build the total there. If you are forecasted first, it's so critical to make your lifts to continue to build that total and stay in first. And I think that was the right call. That moved like a second attempt.
Excellent work there, Dylan. So I wonder who he's going to put in for his third.
I wonder, too. I would say I wouldn't put him more than 5 kilos, considering he did jump 5 kilos from his opener. And you see it sometimes where a lifter takes a smaller jump from their first to second, and then a larger jump from their second to third. But it's dicey because it's
bench press.
Yeah, it's bench press at 1, and 2, your body's not going to be primed for taking a larger jump when you just took a smaller jump, if that makes sense.
Absolutely right.
Chislin, another one of our lifters, currently forecasted in third place. Big jump here. 12.5 kilo
12.5 kilos on
that
bench.
Is a big,
maybe he's
big
just
jump.
built diff.
Maybe he just wanted to get, maybe he trains like this.
Or
see how
he's trying to get some kilos back from that missed third attempt squat.
Right, let's see. That's the thing. When, unfortunately for Chislin, that's going to be a no lift. He's still got his opener. He could come back and try it again. I don't know if he will try it again or if he'll just scratch, but that's the thing. Like you said, we're not privy to the private information that him and his handler has, but some lifters, they do attempt to, quote-unquote, make up ground in the bench press if they were to miss their third attempt squat. You're adjusting the numbers up. You're thinking, whoa, I need to catch up. I need to catch up to my competitors. And that's what puts you in a situation where you could potentially miss your second and third bench, only walk away with your opener. It's actually more harm than good. Yeah, it's more harm than good. Honestly, I would suggest the opposite. If you end up not having the best day in squat, I would honestly suggest bumping down. You're adjusting down slightly for your plan for your bench and deadlift, because especially if you're cutting into the class or maybe the travel took a hit on you, it's not a good idea to just think in your mind, oh, I'll just bench a little bit more to make up ground in the squat. Likely if your squats didn't go well, especially if it was a strength issue, then it could just be a strength issue on the day in general. And it's so important to take what you have on the day, make those lifts, build that total. That's going to put you in the best position possible to place as high as possible.
That's right. Tori Fasciano's up next. Currently slated second with a 7.5 kilo jump. This is 347 pounds. My goodness gracious, folks. Almost 2
Big
times
bench.
body weight.
Whew.
Oh, good grab by the spotters and loaders on platform 1 for Taylor Thomas. Just couldn't get it off the chest there.
Beautiful arch there. Oh,
It looked fine. I didn't see it dip down. I mean, that right side obviously did, but hey, that's a good lift, as did our judges.
and where would you go from there?
To be honest, it didn't move that slow.
It wasn't that slow.
It wasn't that slow. I think you just misgrooved it a slight bit.
Yeah.
I'd be safe with a 2.5 kilo jump.
I would too. I would too. You
No
could
sense
try
in
to go
risking it.
for 5. I'd probably put 2.5, just because it was a little wobbly, but it wasn't like an all-out grinder.
Right.
And that's kind of the thing with lifters with a higher arch. You could see a little bit more variability in their benches. Sometimes, especially if lifters, Tori doesn't, but if you've got a super extreme arch, then it could be a little dicey with your attempts just because the liftoff has to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect.
I'll say the arch is so technical.
Yeah, you've got to be so technically sound when you've got a great arch. And what a
Alex
great
Lamb.
ride on platform 3.
Now here's
Phenomenal.
Logan on 2.
Logan in our equip division.
Looks good. Hit like 1
Look
or
good.
2, maybe 5 sticking points on the way up, but he pushed past every single one. That's a good lift for Logan.
Yeah, and he's in a bit of a battle in the 90 kilo equip. Dude, this is crazy. This high school level meet, high school nationals, so many battles across the board. I mean, Logan in a bit of a battle for the top position. There was only a 7.5 kilo spread between Hunter at the top and Waylon in 3rd place. So they're going to be fighting to walk away with the national title there.
And to say that you got a national title at 14, 15 years old, come
Hey,
on, dude.
I'll take it.
Come on. You know how many national titles I have? Big old goose egg. You know how many state titles I have? 1.
What? Hey!
1. That is it. These kids, they probably won their state 4 times over.
Yeah, powerlifting is just leveling up across the board, across all weight classes.
Now, Andrew Leadham needed a little bit of help on that one, which is A-okay. He is on the board. He's gotten his first 2 attempts for both squat and bench. Not entirely awful. We're starting to see...
Are you talking about Adrian on 1?
No, Andrew
Oh,
on
okay.
3. On 3, yeah. So with these attempts, I mean, 6 for 9, if we're looking at a total, if we're looking at the entire meet, it's not amazing. I mean, most often that means we missed
Your thirds.
all of our thirds, or maybe we had a little
Typically.
bit of a snafu on one of the lifts, you know, whatever happens there. It's not horrendous, though.
It's not 3 for 9.
It's not 3 for 9. Come
Ooh.
on, Adrian. Beautiful.
Beautiful bench from Adrian. 2 for 3, missed his opener. He's excited with that. Likely, potentially the first time he crossed over that big 315-pound milestone, hitting 319 there.
God, that's 3 plates. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Up next on platform 1, Christian Lee. He's going to start off our next flight of powerlifters. He's from Boston Latin.
Tyler Collins on platform 3, just jumping 2.5 kilos in the fight for top 5 in the 82.5s. Really just jumping the minimum amount, trying to add 2.5 kilos to his total.
It only looks like he's forecasted 7.5 keys right behind.
Yeah, I mean, it's tight all across the board in there.
Good work for Christian on one.
I love that call
Tyler,
from
what
Tyler.
a press.
What a call.
Wow.
That
Do
was a
you
good
know
call.
how much he saved for deads now?
Yeah.
That man's going to be a contender in a few minutes. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that was great.
Folks,
3
we
for
might
3.
have a fight on our hands. Parker, oh my gosh, hit probably the most solid sticking point I've ever seen, but pushes past it without downward motion. 3 white lights.
Yeah, that looked great. And Parker is well ahead in the equipped side of the 82.5
And you know what's
kilo
interesting
class.
there? He's doing bench raw.
Wow.
He's doing his bench raw. He is not wearing a shirt, and if he is, I can't see it. Oftentimes you can kind of tell because their arms are forward. There's a little bit of extra stuff in the shoulders, and that is because of the fabric of the shirt. That looked like he's wearing a normal t-shirt.
Yeah. I wonder if he also opted to lift raw in the squat. I don't quite remember, but there was somebody who was
There's someone that
squatting.
did raw with wraps.
Yeah. I mean, I think there was even somebody squatting with sleeves. I might be tripping. I think I might be tripping.
No, you're
I
sitting,
might have
actually.
just But yeah, Parker really doing well on the equipped side. Looking to walk away, I think as long as he makes his opener on deadlift, going to walk away with the national championship there. Robert Turner, potentially in the talk for top 5. 137.5, 10-kilo jump. Can he do it? 300 pounds.
I wonder if they're going to call that an up and down. I might have seen it a
was
bit.
fine. 3 white
Hey,
lights.
all right, 3 white lights.
We love to be wrong.
It's my favorite thing. Big fan. All right, 308 pounds locked and loaded for Mason Buckner. Here's Valen on platform 1, 95 kilos, looking to go for a self handoff. Bars loaded up next for Nick Shelston on platform 1. Here's Mason coming up to platform 3. Can he find his way off the chest?
Big
Can he get the
grind,
triceps
uneven.
over?
Can he lock it out?
Come on. Beautiful. Come on, judges.
What a way to recover.
Please let that be clean. Oh,
What?
man. See, so
I
they...
thought it looked
oh,
good. I would go to
man.
the jury. I would go to the jury. I thought that was great.
Absolutely.
I thought that was great. I didn't see any downward motion there. I don't think I did.
Yep. Now, downward motion, folks, obviously we saw that left hand, or we saw that right hand kind of be a little bit slow on the draw there. But when we're looking at up and downward motion, we're looking at the center of the bar. That's one of the
Yes.
main things as a referee. We're looking at the whole of the bar.
Yes, not just one side.
Exactly. And so...
Or if someone's locking out unevenly, that
Yes.
should be okay. I would definitely go to the jury there. Chislin missed 145 on his second attempt, electing to come out anyways. That's the tough thing. 12.5-kilo jump on bench. It was dicey.
bold moves.
Let's see if he
Bold
can
moves from
recover.
these kids.
And he needs these kilos to stay. This could put him a bit behind between being in contention for second or even first place.
Yeah, if he doesn't, Sammy and Derek can come behind.
Let's see if he can fight through. Oh my God!
Wow!
What a recovery for
Wow!
Chislin.
Dude!
Give it to him. What a recovery. I had my doubts. I honestly
What?
had my doubts. He missed.
How did he do that?
He flat out missed that on his second attempt. Do you know how hard it is to come
Oh
back
my
from
gosh.
a missed bench and get it on your third attempt? That was huge.
Oh my gosh, he
That
must
was
have
huge
hit up
for
the veterinarian before he came here. He man's got the dog in him. Oh my gosh.
He's got that dog.
Wow.
That's huge. That's
Wow.
That is huge. In the
Come
battle
on, and he
of
just
the 82
almost
and a half.
broke my hand. Oh my gosh.
And now Dylan Albert also in the battle, currently projected first, taking 145, trying to go 3 for 3, where every lift matters, and he's done it with room in the tank. Lots of energy left.
Looking to add more to the spread. Currently, it's a forecasted 10-kilo difference between Dylan and Tori. But we've still got deadlifts, folks. They are going to be opening with the same weight, but who knows? Their jumps are going to be different. That's
Yeah.
that's the fun of it.
This is so fun. And Chislin, who just had the craziest recovery on his bench.
Missing his second on strength and then coming back and grinding through it. My
yes,
God.
and that put him. I mean, if he missed that, I honestly think he would have been out of the race for second or possibly first. Now he's still got a bit of a spread, but it could happen. He could take big jumps on deadlift. He's got the largest deadlift of the group. He's going to have that deadlift advantage.
I'm going to say 20 kilos is not a lot to recover from, especially with deadlift. That's the lift you can add the most to, like what we were talking about with that deadlift advantage. It looks like Chislin is going to be opening significantly higher than Dylan on the deadlift, so we might be able to see a little bit of that deadlift advantage come into play. We might be able to see him load whatever he has to in order to get the dub.
Yeah, no matter what. And even with Dylan and Tori, if they start messing up in the deadlifts, only get their opener, or even missing their opener, having to repeat it, that could really open the door for Chislin.
Speak of the devil, here's Tori right now.
Yeah, 160.
352.
Taking just a 2.5 kilo jump. I like this call.
Very,
if I remember,
very safe.
The second attempt, it didn't move like an all-out grinder, but
he had that misgroove on the right side there.
Yeah, and he's got that high arch where it's just going to be a little more variable. And let's see him do it. 160. Can he lock it out? There it is. There it is. And he locks out 160, going, I believe, 6 for 6 so far. And that is crucial in battles to make your lifts. Tori has done it. Will he continue that trend going into deadlifts, forcing Chislin or even Dylan to have to pull into first place, pull into second? We'll see how it goes.
Folks, we've got us a battle in the 82s. But we're going to take a short break, 10 minutes, because we got to get the platform cleaned off. The party is going to start when the weight hits the floor, so don't go anywhere. You've got 10 minutes. It's 10:30. Let's see, what can you do in 10 minutes? If you got any extra Pop-Tarts, preferably the strawberry or the wild berry. Big fan of both of those. Go and get you some Juicy Juice, and we'll see you in 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Twin.
Oh, where have you been? Folks, we are on to the deadlifts on platform 3. 200 kilos, locked in, 440 pounds. And Dylan Foley's going to take his third attempt at 220 pounds. Here's Dylan. Smooth off the chest there. That's actually right on the money for a third attempt there. Like we said, you don't want it too tough that you sap all the energy for deadlifts, but you want enough to add just enough to the total there. Excellent job by the handler and Dylan Foley. He comes away 3 for 3 on bench, which is huge, especially going into deadlifts, because most lifters, especially for third attempt benches, don't make it past that point. Here's Richard Stevens. Easy opener at 440. Caleb Miller is going to come behind with, again, 440 kilos. Oh, wow. Caleb Miller, almost a pristine-looking deadlift setup there. Man's built to deadlift. That's going to be a good lift. All right, Jackson Morrow, unfortunately, needed help to get that bar fully locked out there, but he will come away 2 for 3, overall 5 for 6 on the day. Here's Tucker Gillett, or Gillette, 102.5 kilos. He's going to retake that. I can't remember if it was on strength or if it was on the technical issue there, but we are hoping he's able to add this 102.5. That's 5 kilos, which could make all the difference later on. I believe it was on strength. Oh, no. He had that big grind, and then he went up and downward motion, so he really sapped all he had there, and I don't think he had another kilo going in to deadlifts, but that is okay. Up next is Nick Shelsta, 102.5 kilos. He's going to retake that weight as well. And Steven Osterman on platform 3, 479 pounds for his opening attempt. And here's Nick Shelsta. Like we said, going to retake that 102.5 kilos. Maybe it was Nick, I'm not sure. Something about the name.
Fast descent there. Oh, I think he
nice.
got it.
Good work there. Oh, no. You know what I think they called him on?
What?
Heaving. They got him on heaving.
They could have.
100%.
Either
so
that
folks,
or potentially butt raising. But,
that
well,
too.
no, the front judge wouldn't have called it. Or potentially jumping a command that we don't hear.
That's true as well.
But, yeah, he explain what heaving is.
Yeah, so if we saw after Nick got the press command there, the bar kind of sunk down just a little bit more before the press motion. That's called heaving the bar. The bar cannot go back down onto your chest once you get the press command, or it can't go deeper into your chest, because that's technically heaving the bar up.
It's basically like another version of downward motion.
Yes, kind of using that rebound factor, using that stretch reflex, try and get that extra oomph out of the hole. However, most often, it's never on purpose. Most heaving I've seen is really only ever called like once in a meet, and that's only on like a super heavyweight. The lifter is just trying to stay locked in, stay mental, thinking to themselves, all right, maybe I got to do a little bit more to get that extra oomph, when really they just need to keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah, it's a difficult. You've got to have a close eye as a referee, because it's not called very often, but it is a rule in the rule book. And we've got the 110 gods on platform 1, 4 110 attempts in a row. Can they all make their lift? Hector starts out strong, going 3 for 3, getting 110 on his third attempt bench.
Pickle Kevin is very, very proud of you. Here's Sam Stringer up next, 110 kilos. Same thing. We are on first attempts for platforms 2 and 3 for the deadlifts. And looks like we've still got 6 lifters left on platform 1 before we move into our 10-minute break and deadlifts on that platform. But while we do have 2 platforms on the deadlift, might as well start getting into the nitty-gritty of it. Deadlift is the most fun lift of all. It is when the party starts, the weight hits the floor, the music gets louder, the weights get bigger. We started to hear the weight slamming on the ground. It shakes the whole hotel. It's going to be a party. On the technical side of things, there's only one command that we have to abide by, and that is the down command. And you, in terms of timeout, normally the timer starts when the referee says start. There is no start command, unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess, for deadlift. So as long as the lifter initiates the motion of the deadlift prior to that minute going down, that's technically the equivalent of a start. But at the very, very top of the lift, knees have to be locked, shoulders have to be locked, hips have to be locked. There can be no downward motion on the way up. And if the head referee sees all of that, then he'll get the down command. And I was going to ask you what the, I just said you. I was going to ask Adriana what the different rules were for the deadlift, but I kind of just explained them like really quickly there. Yeah.
Red card, not locked out in the shoulders or the knees. Blue card, downward motion, or supporting on the thighs. That's something you see some lifters do, especially on third attempts, if it's a really hard max attempt and they try to kind of use their thighs to get the lift up. It's kind of your body's way of saying, I need to get this weight up no matter what.
Exactly.
It's like survival mode.
It's almost always instinctual, and it's almost always with those heavier weights.
Yes.
Yeah,
now, it's not very often to see it on a lighter weight.
Very, very true. It's also called hitching or ramping. Here's Connor Scott on platform 1, 418 pounds. In terms of the deadlift, there's a, oh gosh, now we're starting to get the powder. Here we go. All right.
Oh, yep, we're on deadlifts.
Going.
We're on deadlifts. We're here for, what, 12, 11 more hours? We're going to be here all day with the powder.
We got it.
We're locked. We'll inhale it. We'll take it.
Now, when we're looking at the deadlift, folks, we've got two different stances we could elect to go for. Technically 3, but we'll talk about the main 2 here. We've got the conventional deadlift, as we see Levi on platform 2. Conventional stance entails the feet going inside the hands. Or, what? Actually, yes, that's right. Feet is going inside the hands. Knees are inside the hands. It's going to be a little bit longer of a range of motion, and it will place more emphasis on the low back and the hamstrings. It's very common to see ramping with the conventional deadlift. Conversely, we've got the sumo deadlift, as we see Sammy Ireland. Right behind, the feet are wide. Some folks like to have it close to the weight. Hands are inside the bar, and it's a lot more technical of a position to get in. But the trade-off there, it's a lot less range of motion, and you're using different associated muscle groups there, the glutes and the hips, as well as the thighs, as the prime movers for that lift. And, you know, kind of like that where sumo is not conventional. It's more often to see, you know, soft knees or something like that. When we get to sumo, it's a lot more common, and we might see it here, where it's going to be super, super slow off the floor. It may even look like it's not moving at all, but just have faith and trust, because at the very end of the day, you know your strength. Here's Tucker Corbin on 1. All right, Caleb Miller on platform 3, easy opener. Folks, we finished up the deadlift on finished up the bench on platform 1. We're going to take a 10-minute break. It's 10:53. It's 11 o'clock, so it's officially brunch time. Go ahead and grab you some OJ. Go ahead and grab you some fruit snacks, and we'll see you in about 10 minutes. You mean the Southern Slam Down that you're directing in just a few short weeks?
I should officially change the name to Fire Emoji Meet. I think that's what I should do.
A jack of all trades. Adriana, commentator, competitor, referee, coach, and meet director.
It's too
Literally
many hats.
Completing all the side quests for powerlifting.
It's too many hats. I need to spot and load. I need to do it at least once.
Yep, so that's...
I need to shoot media. I don't know how to use a camera. So maybe one day.
This counts.
Okay.
This counts as
okay, this
media.
This
counts as part of the media.
Okay.
I've worked a table at meets before, so
oh yeah,
you know, that counts.
I love working a table. I can kind of relax.
Here's Andy Wynn.
Oh,
so like I was
no
saying,
lift.
there, it's going to be slower off the floor with the sumo deadlift, but sometimes the spotters and loaders call upon gravity as the main op,
It's
and
the
they
op.
say no, you can't move it. Not today.
Gravity
well, let's see if
is
Andy
the
can
biggest
overcome.
op. Who
Straight
can
up.
overcome gravity? That's what we're after here. Who is going to lift the most weight? Who is going to overcome gravity the most? And that's who will win the meet. Good way to put it, right? No?
I mean, spitting mad facts.
We're
No
doing
printer.
we're doing something. We're doing something here.
Y'all, we are so tired. But we're doing great. We're having all the fun in the world, to be honest. Santiago Sanchez, oh, be careful with that. So that head referee saw exactly what I saw. He did go down. He did complete the lift. Everything else was technically fine. However, he dropped the bar. You cannot let go of the bar at any point in the deadlift. We have, because I mean, if you let it go, who knows if you have control of it or not. Referees need to see complete control of that deadlift. Interesting too, one thing to talk about, grip does play a factor
Yes.
into the deadlift as well. Oftentimes lifters will opt for hook grip, which is tucking the thumbs underneath the bar and then gripping the thumb, kind of locking that in place. And then other lifters try to go for over-under grip, which is a lot more common.
Yes.
For many lifters, it's easier.
Hook
it's
grip
a lot less
hurts.
taxing. Hook grip
It hurts.
definitely
If you've never
hurts.
tried it, don't.
I'm a hook gripper,
Oh.
and I was over under, but then I transitioned to hook. I'll never look back, I'll say that. But it was a very, very tough 3 months.
Oh, wow.
It was a very
And
tough
it's-
3 months.
It's crazy how a change in something that seems as small as grip can take so long to transition to get used to.
Exactly. I mean, you see with bench too, all it takes is some folks to move just a little bit wider, bench goes up 20 pounds.
Yes, yeah, exactly. These small changes are kind of what we're all after, making those technically sound, minute changes in order to maximize the most that you can lift.
On the flip side of that, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yes, some lifters, they try to follow the trends that could especially be prevalent among high school lifters, to be quite frank. Try to follow
That's
the
where
trends.
the trends start.
Yeah, try to follow the trends of what their favorite lifter is doing, their favorite influencer, and sometimes what works for them is not necessarily going to work for you. They've got a lot more experience, and everyone's different. Everyone's got a different build, different form that works for them, different anatomy, and as always, it depends.
It depends.
It depends. Number one answer. You don't know? Just say it depends. It'll work out. You won't be wrong.
Jacob Courtney, a little bit slower at the lockout there. That's 418 pounds. I'm going to give him a good lift, and the judges will. 2, 3 goose eggs on the board. Aaron Polsel on 3. Conventional stance of peace. And Edwin Roberts on platform 2, 424 pounds. And one step closer to the edge, and I'm about to break. Shout out Linkin Park, one of my favorite bands of all time. Shivan Lahane. Oh, wait, nope, that's platform 1. Disregard. Edwin Roberts on platform 2, and we've got Derek's son on 3. Trying to call upon the strength of the audience here for that 540-pound second attempt.
Now, Derek, one of our lifters, really in that fight for top 5, adds more kilos to his total. Good lift. Now, yeah, he's within this flight. He's really in a battle between him, Trenton, who's about to go, and Richard, and potentially Aaron as well, and Tyler. This class is so stacked, and all of them will kind of be jockeying for a position as we head into third attempt deadlifts in just a little bit. Kind of be jockeying for a position to get into that top 5 spot, whereas those in the top 4 as a forecasted total, they are all going to be in the second flight. So they're going to have the advantage of knowing exactly what they need to lift in order to beat these guys in the first flight. And now Trenton, 250 kilos, big jump there. He jumped.
Wow, okay.
Am I mistaken? He jumped like 22.5 kilos. That's a big jump. And it was relative, it was slow, but that's what I would expect from a 22.5 kilo jump.
Now, on deads, it's not entirely unheard of. You know, on deads, I mean, you can go for 10, 15, 20 kilo jumps. I've seen upwards of 30 kilo jumps, even for some light guys.
Yes.
Because, I mean, it is just picking it up.
At
You're
the
just
end of the
picking
day,
it up
just
and
pick
putting
it
it
up.
back down.
Just pick it up.
Listen,
that's what this is all about. Pick it up, put it back down.
Listen, if it's hard, just
pick it up.
Just pick it up and put
Just
it back in the rack.
be better. I am so sorry, but yeah, I mean,
we gotta remain locked in.
You've got a good point where it's not as uncommon to see these big jumps.
Especially with folks trying to vie for positioning.
Yeah, for sure. You can see someone being forced to take a lift that they honestly have no business doing, or there's like a 5% chance that they're going to make it. But you're here at Nationals. That's what Nationals is for. If you're just trying to go out, have some fun, build the biggest total you can, that's more so for a local meet, or if you're not really in contention for that top placing. But if you are, you're going to be forced to take a shot on your third deadlift to try to reach into the podium position. That's what we're here for. That's the point of Nationals. It's a competition. You're trying to place as high as you can, and sometimes you're going to have to overreach to do that.
All right, coming up to platform 2, Levi. 215 kilos are loaded. That's 473 pounds. And he is one of our only, if not the only, 90 kg lifter in this flight, or in this session. Sean Wilson, a 20 kilo jump. Moves like butter. 3 white lights. Oh, Levi. I'm going to be honest, man looks like he's built to deadlift. He's got long arms, long legs. And you come to find that anatomy does play a good role, or I mean a massive, massive role, especially in deadlift. With the sumo, I mean, a lot of people think, oh yeah, I'll do sumo, that'll decrease my range of motion. No, 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 no. You might not have the hip mobility for it. You might not be built for it like that.
Dude, I have tried sumo so many times, and it just doesn't work for me. I mean, if you were to look at me and look at my leverages, you could say, hey, I think sumo is going to work for you. I try it, it just doesn't feel good. It's not comfortable. My hips, my hip anatomy is just a little bit too narrow, where conventional just feels so much stronger and so much more comfortable. And that just comes down to, it depends. It depends on, like, I mean, powerlifting is so individualistic where, yes, some people say, oh, sumo's cheating, but sumo doesn't work for everyone, and it's hard to master in a technical sense as well.
I was going to say, to be honest, I think sumo's harder than conventional.
I agree.
And now I've competed both with sumo and conventional. Sumo's definitely harder, without a doubt. In terms of just maintaining that technique off the floor, that takes a different kind of patience that many folks just don't have, especially at this level.
Yeah, you've got to be so technically sound with it. It takes a lot of practice to really master the sumo technique. And once you do, it could be really great, depending on if you've got the leverages to have a great sumo. It could end up being fantastic, but it takes a long time to master.
Aiden Brown, looked like he had a little bit of a trouble getting over the knees. 2-1, good lift. Looks like that side judge saw it as well. All right, Braden Bessinger. 225 kilos, that's 496 pounds. Folks, if you're waiting for the action on platform 1, we are a minute and a half out. Now, here's Andy Wynn. This is going to put him into the top 15. We're into our third attempts, folks, on platform 3. All right, Brendan Murphy's coming up now. 501 pounds. We're into the 500s on pulls, folks. And we're on third attempts. We're on second attempt, sorry, on platform 2. But it's only up from here.
Yeah, and on platform 3, we're already rolling into thirds from the first flight. And
and this is going to put Caleb over
He's
into provisional 6th. Or provisional 5th, excuse me.
Provisional 11th. Oh, excuse me, you're right. Provisional 6th, right?
5th.
5th.
Yeah, put him from 6th to 5th.
5th for now, but we're going to have a couple lifters in the later flight who are going to pull ahead. But you never know. One of them could, God forbid, bomb out. And then you're just trying to place as high as you can within your flight and then see what the others do.
That's right. And that's going to be... Actually, I don't know why that said that.
I think that's because the lifters in the second flight haven't lifted yet.
Okay.
So if you're just looking at non-forecast and then,
yeah we are at the start of it, so.
Yes. So that's one thing that these lifters and these handlers of the lifters can do when they're in the battle of the 82.5s. They could honestly just look at placing as high as they can within the flight, and then you have no control. You could see what they're going to total on their opener potentially and try to pull over that, but you have no control over what the lifters are going to do in the second flight. Unfortunately, they're not going to be directly head-to-head in that battle. They're just going to have to lift first. They're going to have that disadvantage, and they're just trying to place as high as they can within the flight and then seeing how it all shakes out by the end of it.
Steven Osterman, can he get past the knees?
Whoa.
Yes, he can. Interesting sticking points there.
Yeah.
I don't know that he ramped it at all. I didn't see any up and down.
He did.
Hey, 2 to 1.
That's all you need.
Nice. Uh-oh, it's twin. Richard Stevens.
20 kilo jump.
I really want to call you Dick Stevens so it matches Nick Stevens. That way we can really be twins, but that's okay. I'll call you Richard Stevens. 240 kilos, 529 pounds, putting him in provisional first.
Wow,
however,
pulling him over Derek's son. Whoa.
And Derek's son trying to break into the top 5.
Yeah, this battle is just so stacked.
Oh, my.
Wow, and he makes it move. Oh, we got to see if he locks it out. I think he did.
Attaboy.
The twin in him.
Come on.
Richard Stevens pulling over Derek's son for provisional first.
And that's over Derek's son's forecasted third attempt.
No, that's over the total that he is currently at. Now, Derek's son is going to be lifting in just a few lifters, going to be trying to pulling ahead. But that's all you could do. If you do not have the deadlift advantage, that's the right call. Put on the minimum amount to break you over into the top position. I mean, he literally tied him on total. Now, force Derek to execute. Force him to execute.
Let's see Derek doesn't. They come home with the same total. Who wins there?
Richard does.
Why?
So Richard weighs lighter than Derek. So that is why Richard chose that exact number in order to pull over Derek.
Just a hypothetical. What if they weigh the exact same to the 0.1?
If they were to weigh the exact same, the lifter who did the total first would come out on top. So in this particular situation,
It would be Richard.
It would actually be Derek.
Oh, he did hit the 612 before that.
Yes, he hit the 612.
Okay, that third is going to go ahead.
Yeah,
Okay.
he hit the 612 on his second attempt. So if they weighed the exact same, Richard would have actually had to out-total him by 2.5 kilos.
So Derek's son might not be in as much danger as we initially thought.
No, I mean, he's gonna deadlift after. And Aaron, big fight here on platform 3. I don't think it's going.
Yeah, we saw a hitch there. It's not going to go. A valiant effort, Aaron Potzel.
And he was actually trying to pull over Richard as well. Or, excuse me, no, he wasn't. He was trying to pull into provisional 3rd place. But unfortunately missed that. He's in provisional 4th. And we're going to have some lifters later trying to pull ahead. But now
Derek's son.
Derek trying to pull for a 622.5 kilo total, really trying to solidify his case to crack into that top 5 by putting up the best total that he can. This would give him 622.5. The other lifters in the other flight are going to pull ahead of that, but he's trying to get 5th. Has he done it? I think he has. It looked pretty clean.
There
3 white lights.
Derek.
Good lift for Derek. Awesome way to end the day. He had a little mishap on his squat, but he ends 8 for 9. That's a phenomenal day at high school nationals.
Now, Derek's son is 5th, but we have yet to see Trenton, Dylan, Tori, or Sammy.
Or Chislin, too.
Or Chislin hit their attempts. So, at this point, Derek has hit his total. There's nothing else he can do. All he can do, unfortunately, is just sit back and watch.
Yeah, and I think he's going to do just that. I think he's going to sit in the audience, potentially watch on LiftingCast to see where he ends up, and honestly pray that he ends up in the top 5.
We saw that situation come up with, was Eric Chen last night?
I don't think it was Eric. I think it was a lifter who was on a different platform. I don't remember his name, but he was on a different platform and kind of had this situation where he had to lift first, and the lifters that he was in contention with were on that different platform and could know exactly what they need to total to place over him. Oh.
Call us the Deadlifts, because we're all back to platform 1, baby. The party has started on all the platforms. 205 kilos. Reese Butler is going to come up for 451 pounds. Now, Joseph Nepper, this is a poll that'll put him in provisional 4th. He's currently sitting 6th at the moment. Again, we still have yet to see our 4 heaviest pullers in the flight, or in the on this platform.
Ooh, can he lock it out?
He's got it.
I think he's got it.
Beautiful, beautiful.
He's got to hold on. I think he's got
clean.
it. Yeah, it was clean. I think he did it. I think the lights are, I think the LiftingCast. Oh, okay, 2 to 1. 2 to 1, good lift.
2 to 1, that is a good lift. So right now he's sitting in provisional 4th. That's 597.5.
Oh, we just had a change there from Trenton Ardoin, who is...
That's an American record.
Yeah, I think it might be. He's not coming up next. But Trenton, just looking ahead, he has put in 275.5. That is over 600 pounds.
But
and
not only that, folks, that's a weird little increment we see. So that is going to be an American record attempt. And in this case, folks, you are allowed to, well, what is called, actually you can't. Now that I remember, we talked about that earlier, you are not allowed to chip any of those records. So he might have put in 275.5. He'll probably have to bump up to 277.5.
I think they're going to, we can see it here if the referees head back to the back and try to make sure that the record is valid. Yeah.
Yep, and here he comes. He's right up next.
Yeah, we're going to see what happens there. Yeah, I mean, yep, he's bumped down to 272.5.
Okay. So this is below the record, unfortunately. But, hey, this is still a 600-pound even deadlift.
It might be above the record. Let me check. Yeah, it's not a record.
Okay.
But still, 600 pounds, that is
Wild.
nothing to sneeze at. That is a phenomenal deadlift. And he, big jump too. He did 250. Bro, he jumped
Whoa.
500 pounds, 550 pounds on the second, now jumping to 600 pounds.
What a baller.
What a
What an
bold
absolute
move.
baller Trenton is. Oh my gosh. You know, for his sake, I hope he gets this. I mean,
I hope he does. I hope we see 600. This is a big deal. This is a big lift.
Julian Tavares on platform 1. What's going on, folks? We're back on platform 1. 215 kilo opener.
Oh my gosh, is he going to lock it out?
No.
Can he finish it?
It's looking
It's
like
not
so.
going.
What happened there, once he got right above the knees, we start to see some lumbar flexion.
I think he's all right. Got a little lightheaded.
Yeah, good shout out to the back spotter there.
You know what was interesting there too? He was trying to pull into, I believe, provisional first over Derek's son. And the thing is, he didn't need as much as he put on.
No.
For that lift. He needed, I think it was about 7.5 kilos less or 5 kilos less. And I think he would have gotten that. So that's kind of a question of, he was going for that record. And that's kind of the interesting situation when you're trying to go for placing, but you're also trying to go for a record. It could pull you out of the pocket. If you're overreaching for that record, then you could end off in a lower positioning.
And again, folks, kind of what you were talking about earlier, that's kind of what happens when we might be focused a little bit too much on the forecasted total rather than what's actually needed on the platform. Because let's say the lifter you're looking at misses,
Everything changes.
That's no longer the total that's forecasted.
Everything
so now
changes.
you can change your lifts.
Yes, you've got to pay attention with the utmost detail when you're looking at the forecasted total. And even you could see people on third attempt deadlifts.
Hey guys, try to keep it close to the corner. Thank you.
And unfortunately on platform 1, that was a missed lift. It looked like strength, so hopefully Evan can come back and hit that on his second attempt.
All right, we're now on third attempt on platform 2. Or I guess we have been for a little bit now. All right, here comes Mr. Alex Lamb. He's going to open up our last flight of deadlifting for this whole session. 187.5. 413 pounds, representing Boston Latin, coached by Eric Cordero. And Travis came on platform 1, 245 kilos. And Brendan Murphy, 242.5, is loaded up. Maybe. Oh no, it looked like that was a scratch. We didn't see him come out for that one. So all lifters do have the option to scratch, which just means they're not allowed, or they're not allowed. They don't need to come out for their attempts. In this regard, they are going to let the clock run the entire full minute for 2 reasons. One, that lifter can come out at any point within that timer to make that attempt. And 2, we want to be considerate to the other lifters within the flight. We want to be sure that everyone gets their due rest. Now here's Joe Fagan. He's calling upon the strength of the crowd to find what he needs to overcome this 262.5-pound deadlift, or 262.5 kilo deadlift. That's 578 pounds.
Joe with a huge deadlift on platform 2. That's a big deadlift.
Beautiful.
2 to 1, it's a good lift.
All love to the crowd there.
Way to end the day.
All right, we're on to our last flight of deadlifting on platform 2. All right, Braden Brown on platform 1, 190 kilos. That's going to be a 2.5 kilo jump, which is fairly small, kind of on the low range of attempt jumps, but it's stable. Here's Sky Wrong, platform 3, 225 kilos, 3 white lights. All right. Easy work there, electing to go sumo stance. Electing to choose only war. Here's Logan Taze. Now, he might have locked that out a little bit too hard. Yep, so that front judge saw exactly what I saw. It looked a little bit too easy, and then once he got to lockout, he had to kind of react to it. And in that, the bar dipped down just a little bit, so that is considered up and downward motion.
Andy Tran getting set up with 200 kilos on platform 1. Wow, and Benjamin on platform 3 makes 235 move with ease. I would love to move 500 pounds like that.
Same.
Over 500 pounds.
Same.
And Sammy, one of our contenders in the 82.5 kilo division, 235 deadlift. This is going to give him a 617.5 kilo total, placing him on the forecasted in 5th place. Now, Derek, that gave Sammy a 617.5 kilo total, while Derek is at 622.5. Derek, if you remember from the last fight, already finished his day. Sammy going to be looking to overtake that, likely by his 2nd attempt.
At the moment, though, it looks like he is sitting in 4th. And Richard's already done his, but we are looking at Sky to be able to come through with that one, as well as Sammy. Hong Feng on platform 1, 207.5 kilos. That's looking like 457.5. And that was a good lift there on platform 1 for Hong Fan. Up on next is Dylan Mitchell, 473 pounds. And they're getting the bar cleaned up for Tori Fasciano. Tori sitting semi-comfortably in forecasted 2nd at the moment, but we will see what happens after this opening deadlift.
Yeah, and I believe Dylan might have, I think he bumped up his opener by 5 kilos. So Dylan is already kind of leading the pack in terms of forecasted total. But if Dylan slips up, Tori could be right there to catch up. And he's also
20 kilos is not far to come behind.
Yeah, especially in the deads, being coached there by Eric Lapointe, the mysterious legend.
Pizza bloat.
And that is a good lift for Tori, giving him a 647.5 kilo total. My face went Chipotle day 4. And Dylan Albert solidifies a 662.5 kilo total on his opening attempt. Dylan really leading the way, and that opener looked good. I think Dylan, honestly, has got it in the bag, but we've got to look at Chislin, who's opening up with a phenomenal 262.5 kilo opener. This is going to put him in 3rd place, so this is actually going to put him over Sammy.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he's the bottom of the flight. He is the bottom of the flight.
Yeah,
okay.
This is the last deadlift, so this would
That's
give...
huge.
Yeah, that's the huge. To have the last deadlift of such a stat class.
So Chislin's in a very unique position here. I'm very interested to see what's going to go.
Let's see how this moves. Let's see. This opener is going to tell a story. And what story
Just like a sumo would.
What story did that tell?
He's in the game.
I think he's in the game. It moved. He had to stay patient at the bottom, and typically you will see that more often from sumo pullers, where That's kind of the hard time I had when I was trying out sumo. It really feels so different from conventional. You've got to stay so patient at the bottom.
It's really hard to get that momentum where, conversely, if you get the conventional deadlift, you're allowed to, wedge a lot more. You're able to kind of grip and rip, essentially. If you do that with sumo, you're going to tank.
Yeah, you've
very
got
fast.
Patience, patience, patience. And we have a little bit of development here. Dylan Albert, he's going to deadlift on him as well. Put in 265 for his second attempt. Getting a little close to Chislin. I mean, if we're comparing openers, I think that Dylan's moved better
And
than
now
Chislin's.
Dylan was a big jumper.
Yeah.
He's a big jumper, so
we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens.
Here's Andrew.
This is really the fun part where you see how the meet comes together as a big story, how you see how it unfolds. And Chislin has put in over 600 pounds for his second attempt.
If it's a story, does that make us narrators?
I think so. I think we're the narrators of this book.
Wow. Changing the narrative. Or, no, not changing, I'll think of something.
Creating the narrative.
There we go, creating the narrative.
Forging the narrative.
Soria on platform 1, easy 215 kilo. Adrian Morel, I can't tell if his nose is bleeding. It's probably his mustache. It looked a little bit interesting, but. All right, folks, we've got Mason Buckner on platform 3, 205 kilos. I think platform 3 might be the party platform here. But wait, platform 1, excuse me, Jacob Schwab's looking to go 9 for 9. All right, Julian Tavares on platform 1, easy 225 kilos, 496 pounds. David Lopez coming up 232 and a half. That's a pretty sizable jump, 17 and a half kilos. This is 512 pounds. All right, Robert Turner making his way up to the platform. Bars loaded, but he's got a whole minute.
Taylor Thomas on platform 1, locking out 225. Celebrates.
Oh,
I would
that
too.
wasn't Robert. This is Robert. Oops.
Oops.
All right, Robert Turner, sumo stance, 245 kilos. Boom. Very nice.
Travis Kim, platform 1. Big deadlift here. Oh, unfortunately, it's a little bit too much. He's on the board. He got his opener. Not going to risk bombing out. And on platform 3, Sky Wrong, 247.5, another big deadlift. nearly 200, I mean, excuse me, nearly 550 pounds. Can he lock it out? Ah, it was so fast off the floor. That's kind of what you see when you have a little bit of a more rounded back position. It will be so fast off the floor, and then the lockout is just so difficult. You've got to hammer those rows, hammer those rear delts to be able to lock out that deadlift. When? Which session? Oh, this one? Okay. I think Kevin's going to hop on the second session.
Oh, cool. All right, bars loaded for Sammy Strouch. Now, right now, Sammy's sitting within the top 5 right now. He's currently sitting at 5th.
At 5th, this is going to put him into 4th over Derek. So Derek is the one who lifted in the first flight. This is going to officially put him over Derek, put him into that 4th place position, and potentially give him an opportunity to pull for 3rd. Let's see how he moves it. And he moves it with ease. 250 kilos for Sammy.
That's a 15-kilo jump.
And he handled it well. That was awesome.
Wow.
That was phenomenal. And now the excitement does not stop there, as Tori Fasciano on platform 3, currently sitting at 647.5. This would give him a 660 kilo total, putting him within 2.5 kilos of where Dylan is at currently. Now Dylan's of course going to take his deadlift, but say Dylan were to slip up and miss his 2nd and 3rd deadlifts, Tori's really got a great opportunity here to try to pull for the win. We got to see how he moves this one though.
All right, now bars loaded for Tori. He's not coming out yet, though. Looks like we're going to... I think there's a little bit of a snafu with the weight on the bar, possibly.
Yeah, potentially.
Looks like his
Waylon,
hand there. Oh, my goodness. Andy on platform 3.
Waylon with the fight to stay in the meet, and I think he's done it. 2-1. Good lift for Waylon. A little bit dicey. He missed his opener at 205, went up anyways, and it paid off. I respect it. It's bold, but I respect it.
Very bold and brash. All right, we are now on to 3rds for our first flight, and then we're going to move into the 2nd flight.
Now Hunter Goodman, 215 kilos for his 2nd attempt deadlift. Moves it pretty well. Moves like his 2nd attempt should. The 2nd attempt, it shouldn't be an all-out grinder. That's going to be safe for your 3rd attempt, but it shouldn't be too easy where you have no idea where you're going to go for your 3rd. You have no real... It should give you some sort of indicator of how much you can jump to get that 3rd attempt.
Right.
Now, here we go. Tori Fasciano, platform 3.
Looks like we've got the right weight loaded now. 257.5 kilos.
Yeah, had a little bit of delay. This would give him a 660 kilo total, keeping him in 2nd place, trying to defend it as well as kind of catch up to Dylan. See how he handles this jump. Oh, it moved well. Little sticky at lockout, but again, move like a 2nd attempt should. Sometimes if you see lifters trying to vie for placing, they could really overreach, especially on that 2nd attempt. And that's what you're always worried about. If people are in that fight, the pressure could get to them. They could overreach, but that moved well for Tori. And we're going to see how it moves for Dylan, who honestly smoked his opener. Going to see how he handles this 15-kilo jump, as he is currently in 1st place, looking to honestly shut that door on the other competitors. It's not going to shut the door completely. There's still going to be a little crack, but he needs this 2nd attempt in order to tell the other competitors, hey, you're fighting for 2nd, you're fighting for 3rd. Don't come from my 1st medal position. And Dylan locks out 265.
Yeah, there it is.
2-1.
All but solidifying.
Gets 1 yellow card. I believe that might have been for dropping the bar early, potentially, just slightly. But he gets it. It's on the board. That could have been dicey if that could have been really interesting if 2 of the referees called that out. Then Dylan would be stuck without a second attempt, and then he's kind of
He'd have to be forced to pull for the win.
exactly, because Tori, Sammy, they could have the opportunity to pull ahead of him. But Dylan secures that. He secures a 677.5 kilo total. And now Chislin coming out to 275. I think this is our first 600-pound pull of the session. I think it is. But Chislin currently sitting in third, really in a battle for third place here between him and Sammy, trying to put that out of reach. Ooh, and he locks out 606 pounds. Give it to him. 3 white lights, and Chislin jumps up to a 647.5 kilo total. Really going to be forcing Sammy to potentially overreach to take that position. And Chislin likely not going to jump now to try to take silver medal, but hey, he is going to have the last deadlift of the day. If Sammy fails to take the bronze medal from Chislin, and Chislin has nothing to lose, he could very well load up for second place. On platform 1, Dylan Mitchell, 217.5, taking just a 2.5 kilo jump, the minimum amount that is possible. Oh, can he lock it out? That was the right call. 3 white lights, good lift for Dylan. And that's kind of a tough situation where your second potentially was a little harder than you expected, and you're forced to take just a 2.5 kilo jump. It can be really tough, to be honest, as a lifter, as a handler, to know that your lifter only has 2.5 kilos left, because usually on deadlifts you take bigger jumps, typically like, at least with these guys, 7.5 to upwards of 20 kilos. So to be mature enough to take that 2.5 kilo jump, just add that little bit to the total, get the most amount of your lifter that you can on the day. That was a great call. Tristan, platform 2, locks out. 190 kilos, gets it, ends the day 3 for 3 in the deads. Wonderful.
Now, on platform 1, we have had a bomb out on deadlifts. Evan Lamkin, unfortunately, he missed his last bench attempt at 130. I hope he didn't hurt something, because he didn't. I don't think he came out for any of his third deads. I didn't pay attention, unfortunately.
I saw him come out for his opener. I missed his second attempt, and on his opener, it honestly looked like a strength issue. I think they just opened a little bit too heavy for the day. I don't know if he tried again on his second attempt and then potentially decided that it's not going. I'm not going to reattempt it, potentially risk injury on that third attempt. Alex,
unfortunately, not in the cards there for Alex. Well, folks, would you look who it is? Of course, you come at the very, very end.
You know, that's what I do, man.
Your new name is Period.
Period?
Always at the end.
Period, queen.
Per. Anyway.
No, off the stream. Leave. How many name jokes have we made so far?
Oh, way too many.
Oh, yeah, as it should be.
All right, hopefully this weight moves like peanut butter for Reese. Wow, I'm proud of myself for that one.
Reese's peanut butter?
Ooh. Reese's peanut butter cups. Oh my gosh. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Beautiful.
He's too good. What a pull.
Folks, we've got some attempt changes.
We're going to see a lot of that on platform 3. Now, I've kind of been shooting that platform, so it's kind of been difficult to keep track of the battle there, but
right now we're looking.
What's kind of going on?
So after second attempts here, Dylan has pulled into first. However, he did, it looked like Tori put in a massive deadlift number that could project him to go just over Dylan. Now, we might see that change again.
Yeah, I think he did change. So Tori going to take just a 5-kilo jump. I think Tori might have kind of realized that Dylan's 677.5 total is just a little bit out of reach for him. So I think he's decided to defend his silver. So that's kind of the question that you're left with as a handler, as a lifter, when there's someone out ahead and they're within reach, but not super far, not extremely questionably out of reach.
What's Dylan's current total?
677.5, whereas Tori is at 660. So that's kind of a big jump that he would have to make. He would have to take a 20-kilo jump
Now,
on
question,
his last deadlift.
What is Chislin projected based off his third?
Chislin is projected at
655. Okay.
655.
So it's not looking like there's going to be a spot, but I mean, in the top 1 or 2, but to still make it on the podium.
Yeah, and it's kind of like the decisions. There's a lot of decision making going on. So Dylan kind of already solidified the win in a way if no one comes for it. But trying to just take a jump that he has, putting it out of reach for the big deadlifter like Chislin. Tori trying to defend his silver position, as well as Chislin trying to defend his bronze position from Sammy.
Unfortunately, it's going to be a no lift for Waylon on platform 2.
Adrian Morel, platform 1, going to take a 7.5-kilo jump to 230 kilos, being coached by the man, the myth, the legend, Kevin Swarano.
He's going to be joining us on commentary for session 2. All right, now we're at kind of the second half of deadlifts on platform, or second half of the third attempts on deadlifts on platform 3. We're going to start to see the story come to an end here. We don't know the ending, but we're going to watch.
Oh, big fight on platform 3, locks it out. Oh, I think he jumped that down command. Big fight on platform 1 as well. Whoa!
Oh, someone help Robert. Someone help Robert, please.
Oh.
What a pull.
All right, he's off the board.
All right, he's all right.
Looked like he took a lot out of him.
But yeah, platform 1, Adrian ends the day 8 for 9. Phenomenal day. Phenomenal day from him. Now, Sammy here, unless he makes some attempt change, I think he's opting not to pull for that third place position. So currently, Sammy, platform 3, he is at 632.5, whereas Chislin is at 647.5. So it's kind of a tough situation there where Sammy would have to jump up 17.5 kilos to his third attempt, and he's
already on the platform now.
Yeah, he's already in the top 4. He's already in the top 4. They kind of realized that 17.5 kilos, well, that looked pretty good. That looked pretty good. I might have gone for it. I mean, they did solidify a 9 for 9 day, so I think that's a phenomenal day to end
go
with.
9 for 9 and hit all your attempts is much bigger feat.
Yeah, for sure.
Much bigger feat.
And potentially, they kind of realized that, oh, if Sammy had taken that risk and taken that 17.5-kilo jump, Chislin has the last deadlift at the end of the day, and he could have just put on essentially exactly what he needed, which is probably just jumping up probably 2.5. He would only have to deadlift 2.5 more if Sammy just barely bumped up over Chislin, hypothetically. Then Chislin would only have to bump up to 277.5 to pull back into third place. So they kind of weighed their options there and just decided to take a lift that they know they have for sure.
That's right. We got Travis Kim up on 1. This is going to put him into 11th place overall. Travis Kim.
Pretty good.
562 pounds.
Parker Anderson on platform 2 unfortunately misses his third attempt, but he did not bomb out. He is going to be your national champion in the equipped 82.5 kilo division. And now, Tori Fasciano really looking to shut the door on Chislin, kind of tell him, hey, this is my silver medal. You're not going to take it from me. He's not going to overreach and try to pull into first place over Dylan. He's trying to secure that silver medal in this battle at high school nationals.
And ultimately, having a clean meet is what matters. Here's Tori.
Yeah, hasn't missed a lift yet. Can he continue?
Beautiful
yes,
play
he
calling.
Can.
Beautiful attempt call there from handler Eric Lapointe.
2 to 1, good lift. Tori going 9 for 9, 665 kilo total. And unless Chislin pulls off a miracle, to be honest, having
Don't know
to
if it's
pull.
gonna happen.
Yeah, Chislin would have to pull a ton to overcome that and break into that silver medal. So Tori is likely going to be your silver medalist in the class.
Now Benjamin Heilig with this one, it's gonna give him a huge jump. This is gonna put him in the top 10. Jumping
Whoa.
from 12th to all the way up to 7th. If he makes this, he'll be forecast at 7th place within the top 10, 584 pounds.
Yeah, that's, I mean, we've said this time and time again. In classes this stacked, it is really an accomplishment to place within that top 10.
That's right. Oh my goodness, folks, we blinked and we missed it. We're done with all the action on platform 2. Oh, wow. That was fast. Well, folks, we've got another session coming up at 1 o'clock, so if you're down to tune into the action, we'd love to see you there. You're going to hear our awesome voices one more time. But thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for tuning in to the High School National Championship for 2024 for the USA Powerlifting. It's been Nick and Adriana. We are signing off. We'll see you in the next session. And we are now starting the last flight of deadlifts for this entire session on platform 1. Jackson Morrow is going to go 402-pound opener.
And Tyler Collins, currently in 8th place, trying to pull for a top 5 position here.
Over Derek's son.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Jumping 15 kilos for this.
That's not that sizable. This is 595
Can
pounds.
he do it? Ah. It was so fast off the floor.
right.
I thought he was going to do it. Hey, that's what you're here for.
And for the moment, I believe Derek's son is safe in that 5th position.
Yeah, yep, he definitely is.
Because all we have left is Dylan and then Chislin.
Yeah, and what a phenomenal performance from Derek and also Richard. Derek cracking into that top 5 from the first flight.
From the very first flight.
From the A flight, not being within that flight with these lifters, that is phenomenal to crack into the top 5.
I imagine we were shaking in the boots a little bit on that attempt, but we come away with a sigh of relief.
Now
Here's Dylan
Dylan,
Albert.
600 pounds, capping off his national winning performance.
Wow.
Ooh, has he done it? 2 white puts the crown on his head. I love that. Dylan Albert totaling 685 to walk away as your 82.5 Raw Varsity National Champion at High School Nationals. What a day for Dylan.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he's a multi-time champion.
I think he might be. He put up the 3 that could be signaling that he is a 3-time national champion. And what a bright future for Dylan. And immediately he gets drug tested after, we can see.
Good to mention, folks, USAPL is a drug-free federation, so at least 10% of the lifting population today will be drug tested per the standards set by the World Anti-Doping Agency. Here's Hudson Faust on platform 1, easy opener at 190.
Now,
here's Chislin on 3.
Trying to cap off his bronze medal performance. He's not going to try to pull for silver, kind of just thinking that it's out of the cards there. He would have to take a massive jump to like 295 or so, but just trying to take a more reasonable jump, 282.5. This is a huge deadlift.
622.8
huge
for this
deadlift
kid.
for this high school.
And he's 181 body weight. Come on, get it off the floor. Oh, someone stapled it.
Just not there, and
oh gosh,
that was the right move to not go for the silver medal. Of course, it was not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at this point, he's already in 3rd.
Yeah, he walks away with the bronze medal.
So at that point, it was extra credit.
Yep.
Well, folks, that's going to cap off all of our action on platform 3. We are going to see you back at 1 o'clock for session 2. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time, or actually, next session.